Completionist comes around at the beginning of like that YouTube generation. He starts doing really well consistently, and he takes part in creating or takes part in joining the Open Hand Foundation. Open Hand Foundation is a charity organization that was created by his family, pretty sure. And it was in regard to the fact that his mother had died of a very specific type of dementia. I think it's over here. Here we go. So here's a clip. I'm using June the King's video where he kind of covered a lot of this. Oh, here we are. So I mean, that's what we're using right now. So shout out to June the King. If you guys want to get caught up on all of this, including his info, I mean, a lot of the charity stuff is the second half of the video at 41 minutes, but he does some very good stuff to like know where we're coming from here.
Even give me that thing. I want that thing to thing to nothing.
Gerard's mother, 10 years after being diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, had passed away.
Frontotemporal dementia.
Gerard and family, bearing witness to her slowly regressing state and to her eventual passing, decided to allow her memory to live on through what would be known as the Open Hand Foundation. This charity is a 501c3, and it would be basically family operated, with the Kilo family working hundreds of hours yearly to quote-unquote evaluate charities to donate to, among other responsibilities. Virtually all the
So that is the creation of it, and he was a part of marketing. So naturally, he ends up starting to do this thing called Indieland.
I want to do a big charity stream, and it is called Indieland. Yeah, it's called Indieland. This is a charity stream designed about indie games, for indie games, promoting indie games, but more importantly, why we love games.
While it was clear that Gerard was incompetent, at the very least, this event
This is rife with the opinions of the people around it, but the charity is not, from what I understand, it is not their full-time jobs. It is just what they like contribute to. I mean, Gerard here himself was doing the Completionist channel. But they all like took part. They were all on the board. They were all, from what I understand, like directors, or it's another word for it, where they were, they were a part of the people that would know everything about the organization, or like those are the people that would be, I should say, allowed to, or like, they're at the highest tier of being able to know everything that's going on. Take care. Let's go. Thank you for showing up. So that ends up, creating that. And then a lot of the drama spawns around this. So he starts doing Indieland every year, and they're talking about doing these donations to charities to help with this temporal, oh shoot, I already forgot it. Temporal dementia, I believe. Let's see here.
Gerard's mother, 10 years after being diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia.
Yeah, frontotemporal dementia. So this is what the charity is for, right? It's fucking awful, and she was able to get into premier foremost hospitals for it. It's brutal. It's brutal. I'm sorry to hear about that. So they end up going through that. They do this charity because they want to help with that. And so they start raising funds for it. Now, here's the big issue, and I'm going to be clear with you guys, like upfront about my thoughts on it right out the gate. I was a bit miffed and a bit confused about the drama when it had first come out, because I wasn't entirely sure why any of this would constitute charity fraud. I think a couple other people had mentioned this earlier. It's strange because when you look at it, it doesn't show when we go into the records and whatnot. The biggest issue is that the money that was generated by all these donations and whatnot, it was not like, we don't have them on record for using it for illicit reasons or like embezzling the money to like a different account. There is some money that's unaccounted for, but the big issue is that all this money sat and collected into a lump sum that was never invested, actually lost money over time, and it was built up all the way to the sum of around $600,000, and none of it was ever donated, almost spanning an entire decade of them accruing funds from donations in regard to this, and it was never donated. Now that's weird. Like that is peculiar. Why? What is going on there? So Carl Jobst and Mudahar end up doing some research. They end up hopping into a call with him talking about it. And he says that the reason that they hadn't done this yet, he could still donate if all the money is in one place. No, correct. And they ended up donating this 600,000. But keep in mind, 10 years. And so, you know, it comes out, well, we were trying to save up an entire huge lump sum and then do a restricted donation. What that means is essentially instead of doing just a standard, donation to some charity, which in like the odds are if you do a large lump sum to charity, a lot of the expenses or a lot of the money that goes to them ends up coming out of like administrative funds. So like they're paying the people that are on the administration team. They wanted to do, and what their claim was, is a restricted donation, which means that they would have to make sure that none of it was going to an administrator and that it was all being tallied and detailed as to what the funds were being used for. So, like for the instance, in this case for dementia, and he addresses this in his video, which I will show you guys, he ends up showing, because they did this restricted donation to this foundation, that they had those funds go to for relief for people that had just had a family member diagnosed with this to help them pay for the medical, the medical bills that are going to pile up in light of this person having this dementia. Which one could argue, so hold on here. Money's sitting there, but I think Gerard mentioned all money would go to charity, but later I think admitted that some of the donations offset indie land fees. Yes. And he also said that they had paid for indie land out of pocket that same year, which was a lie. They used the funds to do it. And at the same time, they also said, yeah, exactly what you're saying, that all the money, like the Twitch donations bits, would be going to charity, but they did not. Which one could, right. So thank you so much for the follow, Matthew Moore. Yeah, so that's kind of like, that's the general understanding that we have to keep in mind. And the biggest issue with it is not that this was just sitting there, like, although that is questionable, although that is worrisome, although we do have to worry about, okay, well, why is it just sitting here? There are a few couple $1,000s here and there that are unaccounted for, and the expenses that they said, like, we're not using it for anything else. Well, they have expenses, and it's like $15,000 here, 10,000 here that are just listed as expenses. They don't even describe what they mean, and in his responses to it, he doesn't go into detail about what that is at all. Well, fast forward, or excuse me, let's not fast forward. The big issue is that he has claimed multiple times that they've had benefactors, like someone from San Francisco and this other, and I can actually just pull it up from the June the King video, where he's implying and making very clear implications that they've donated the money, but they haven't. And to lie about or to make it seem like you have donated the money would interest other people in donating to your, like, indie land, to your cause, to your foundation that moves this money over to these charities, which would constitute being what we went over this. What is that called? Business practices. It's not deceitful business, deceptive business practices. You're getting people to donate to your charity on the false pretense or assumption that you have made these donations to these other charities and whatnot, which is bad. The claim, it's still sitting there, but that's just on their tax documents. They haven't shown their actual accounting. We don't know where that money is. No, the foundation made a statement themselves saying that $600,000 donation did happen. So it did happen after the fact, after it got called out. If that's true, why did he lie about it? That is a great question. A great question. I wish we knew, but he has not given us this info. So that brings us to today. Now, the most important thing about all of this, and the reason that we're going to be taking this entire time to like stream and go over this, has to do with the fact that he's made this response, and I've run into this issue before myself with the oh my god, this guy recently had just come back. I'm Alex. Are you guys familiar with him? He had come back and made, like, basically did a response thing about his partner accusing him, or ex partner, of being abusive and whatnot. And I didn't catch up. I didn't do a recap of the original drama. And so when I covered it, I looked at it with a pair of fresh eyes and was able to be kind of like I was susceptible to the recency bias, where I just kind of took that as it were. And I think it's important to make sure that we are comparing what was said in the original stuff that came out and the lies that were visible in this stuff, and make sure that we're aware of that going into watching this most recent video. Carl Jobst had just lost to Billy Mitchell. There's a bit of like negativity looking towards him. Mudahar has been getting a lot of shit recently too. It would be easy to just go, oh, they were wrong and dunk on them. And so I think it's important to make sure that we're looking at it in its full context. Very likely out of ignorance. His family ran the charity. He was ignorant and focused on running his channel. He didn't know the money hadn't moved until very late. He knew for well over a year. He knew a year before it had come out. He knew a year before he had the phone call with Carl Jobst and Mudahar. He says it in the phone call. He knew for quite some time, and as a matter of fact, did another Indieland stream in the time that he has admitted that he knew about it. So that's kind of a tough part. He also named specific charities they were working with, correct, to encourage more donations. Right. What's up, Leia Sapienti? His dad also has a track record of doing shady shit with charity events, IRC, and his dad and brothers are the ones normally in control. And I believe they were also doing a golf tournament, and suddenly the expenses or like the funds that they were accruing from the golf tournament like were kind of just disappearing over time, which is weird. He claimed he never knew, but then it came out he lied about not knowing. He said it in the phone call that he had with them, that he knew for well over a year that the money hadn't moved. But we'll go over that. Matter of fact, we could show it right here. So let's see here.
But perhaps this was to be donated at a later date for some tax or expense reason. What this did not resolve was the loss of value from the money just sitting stagnantly in a bank account. In this way, the donation is still less than what it could have been. Additionally, when Pro Jared was going through his own controversy, Gerard donated $15,000 indulgence, unquote. The irony was that it was apparent that both
legitimate fraud.
When Gerard reconnects, after levying his woes on Carl and Mudahar,
also in this call, he's being really manipulative and also like, it's bizarre. I just want to actually play it because there's a few points that I want to make with it.
And sections of the call would be construed as manipulation.
I'm just
matter of fact, hold on. Let me go ahead and get straight here into the call. Let's see. Mission call, he kept claiming he... Oh, okay, I see your point, Dodgy. But before the admission in the call, he kept claiming he never knew. Well, where was he saying he never knew? Because before the call, it wasn't made public. So how would he not know? Are you talking about like at Indieland events, he's like, my family's taking care of it? Or... Because why would he be saying that if he knew that the drama or like the info itself wasn't public? Also, ladies and gentlemen, straight the fish. Let's get him in the call here. Boop-a-doo. Oh, sorry, itchy forehead. Bird constantly bringing up his mom for profit is gross. I mean, they made the donation. What is
brethren?
Good. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
Say hi.
Sorry it took me. Oh, hello, stream. Let me. There we go.
There we
I
go.
haven't
So
started mine yet.
we've just been going. I've kind of went over a good chunk of the intro of the Gerard drama, the Completionist, giving a bit of a recap info. I'm just kind of going through that right now still.
All right. Well, can I get a recap? I'm like, shit. I'm assuming they don't get a recap.
Yeah, so we'll continue, and I'm now showing clips of Gerard's phone call, the Completionist, with Carl Jobst and Mudahar, where he's kind of like admitting that he knew about the funds just kind of sitting stagnant for over a year, and also his emotional manipulation with them. I think you're unfairly demonizing Gerard and assuming the worst of him. I think he's a good dude who made mistakes. I was in the same boat as you, and then I watched the recap and watched over the events again of the entire thing, and it seems he made a lot of selfish, egocentric decisions, and it's very clear that there's some insecurity there. And I think if you just rewatch some of what he did during that, which we're about to do, I think that's going to give you a bit of a perspective shift. But maybe you're right. I mean, I never watched The Completionist. I don't have like a horse in the race in terms of like, I don't like hate the guy for any way or for any what reason. So He addressed all of that in
I'm
the
like,
apology. Yeah.
who hasn't kept a couple $100,000 money meant for charity in their own personal bank account for a couple years? Just a few. It's just a couple years. All right. I feel like he probably could have donated a little bit earlier, but maybe he was hoping it would appreciate in his bank account.
Well, they didn't invest any of the money, and the claim they made was that they wanted to do a lump sum because charities usually don't do restricted donations for such small amounts.
I'm pretty
Bribes.
sure they'll take
Oh,
a dollar
yeah.
from me.
We go over the part where he basically bribes him to keep quiet. That is in the clip I'm about to show you guys. Let me pull this up for you. I'll just stream that. And then we will get this started. Okay, so back to here. Okay.
Asking
That this insecurity of seeking approval from both his audience and family is his undoing. That and
Hold on
of
here.
the dynamic Gerard had with his family.
her memory, especially because this is such a personal thing for the last 25 years of my life. I'm
Carl calls him up late at night, providing everything he's found out. The idea
PM, I'm like, hey, if you
I knew it was sitting there at a certain point, and that's what made me proactively go about it. Like,
Do you know when that point was?
I was made aware in 2021 when the money hadn't moved yet, and that's what made me go, that's not fucking cool. And that's what
So 6 months ago. This was done in 2024, so it's 2023. So
I hadn't moved yet. I was made aware in 2021 when the money hadn't moved yet.
So it's like 2 years?
And that's what made me
year and a
go,
half,
that's
I
not
think?
fucking cool.
Year and a half, 2 years?
And that's when I got personally involved to move it.
It's a
And
long time to keep.
Did anyone-
hold of some money?
last year, 2022.
There are two takeaways from the start of the call. Gerard found out that the money had not been moved in 2022. This is despite him being on the board and him running an event for the foundation. This is already negligent on his part.
So the goal on the back end for my family that I've been told is like, we're just going to raise a bunch of money and then give it to one org and like make a bigger impact rather than just giving smaller donations that don't move the needle.
Now, like, if you just donate over time the amount of money that you have in the account, that's not just moving the needle a little bit. So that's just, I feel like that's just a framing thing, but regardless.
as of this week, we've been having conversations about moving it as early as today or tomorrow, just because the pressure I got from you guys, if I'm being quite honest.
To break this down, what Gerard is alluding to is that his family want to make a restricted donation. Restricted donations are donations that go to fund something very specific within an organization. They are restricted to being used in whatever way the donor specifies. There are multiple issues with this statement, as the Open Hand Foundation has not, nor Gerard, ever mentioned a restricted donation. Many donations can be restricted in small amounts. There is no need to stockpile money. And only now
Never mind restricted donations in small amounts.
is the Open Hand Foundation going forward with a donation.
The charity investigation isn't completed yet, but that's so we'll get into that. But that isn't necessarily like he has a good point that they've not found like direct charity fraud specifically in what he's doing.
Because of the pressure Carl Jobs and Mudahar were applying. If this was the goal all along, then why would the discovery of it influence it? As much as this call revealed how unaligned the Foundation was, it
Also, I just with June the King's assumption here, I don't think that that's necessarily fair because, like, of course, if your organization and your charity, you want to generate funds to donate to charity, it's kind of important that you keep a good face with your charity so that people are willing to donate. So if they see that there might be flack coming their way because of how they're handling the funds, they would want to just get ahead of it and take care of it so that they're not seen in a bad light so people will continue to donate to them. That's not like it's not a malicious thing like, oh, well, we got caught and we need to. It's like that stuff should have been made transparent at the get-go, but now they're kind of responding to it as it's hitting them. That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
revealed more of the dynamic Gerard had with his family.
The last thing I want to do is ruin the legacy of my family, of my mom and her memory, especially because this is such a personal thing for the last 25 years of my life. I'm not trying to be like, do you guys want money to help me hide this? It's not what this is at all.
As far as off the record,
So I don't know what that is directly, but it sounds like him kind of offering them money to not go over this. I don't really know what that is outside of the very tiny context that is included here.
stuff is.
You guys want money to help me hide this? It's not what this is at all.
As far as off the record stuff is, I'm going to obviously keep, you know, any mention of you.
They talked about some personal shit in this moment here. And then let's see here. He comes back into the call later.
And family is his undoing. That and sections of the call would be construed as manipulation.
I'm just asking.
This is the other part. This is the part that kind of irked me when I was listening to it. This is Gerard talking to them, and the way that he is portraying this, he's doing the guilt shifting, which if any of you were around for the phase stuff we were going over with phase temper and phase bank, so they were treating rain and like putting decision making and like the fact that temper had admitted to doing what he had done and saying like, oh, if you come out with this stuff, he's gonna off himself, things like that. It comes off as that. Like he comes off as like guilt tripping them.
From a humanity perspective of like, if I am the target of this, I have 20 mouths to feed. I have sponsors. I have a business. I'm trying to make video games. I'm trying to get out of content creation so I don't have to worry about YouTube anymore and do better things in the world. And I just know because of my track record of things like G4 exploding, me being friends with JonTron when he was a racist, you know, I've been a part of like, you know, Pro Jared, and I don't want to go home tonight and tell everyone, hey, there is a gigantic thing coming to claim my career and you all have to close down and find somewhere else to do. I know this is shitty me to say this. I'm not trying to ask for sympathy or anything, but this kind of stuff, I mean, I've been following your guys' stuff for years. The stuff with Billy Mitchell, Carl, the stuff that you've done, Muto, with tons of content creators over the years. Like, there's no nuance to this. People are going to see this and they're going to immediately go, that Gerard guy who's been nice to a bunch of people actually isn't very nice overall. Fuck him. Even if I survive this somehow, even if this is like, people are like, well, whatever, that's how it is. Yeah. It's going to take the passion out of what I do. People aren't going to trust me ever again. I'm not going to trust myself ever again. And I'm just going to walk away from all this. Like, this is like me being like, great, so I'm out. Not just of content creation or being an online personality. I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to disappear and start over and never talk to anyone ever again.
Gerard disconnected halfway through the call.
So yeah, I'm also seeing that's like, it's weird. It's weird, and they call it out themselves, but I'm also seeing, Stenny, you said let's see here. It also comes down to this. Indieland could have been a for-profit, non-charitable event. Gerard could have made 100K every year and no one would have cared. Except, like, you have no idea that he would have made 100K because he was making maybe 100K on some of these events because they were for charity. That's like Markiplier doing one of his charity streams, except he's like, hey, we're just doing this big event. Donate to me. Like, you're not going to see the same kind of stuff because people want to donate to a charity. They don't, if they hear it's just for the person they're watching, well, they've already been watching the person. Like, that's not going to mean that they're just going to donate to it. Is it manipulation, or is he a person with feelings that he's spiraling? You're acting like those two things can't be the same. That's an interesting take, Denny. I think that it's both. I think it's a person with feelings and spiraling, and in response, he's kind of being manipulative. And not kind of, he is being incredibly manipulative. And he even does admit this later on. That is correct. Everything you guys are saying are interpreting Gerard in the most negative context possible. This is him right now, homie. This is not, he also, and like what Dodgy is saying, he says it in his response, Denny. You're arguing a point that he himself doesn't even defend. If something is suspicious, you report it. Doesn't mean he is guilty, but it is weird to criticize them for not having a concrete case. That's what the investigators and courts are for. Right. But yeah. Did you keep up with this much when, I don't know if you were making videos at the time that this had come out?
I didn't actually make a video on the Completionist and all that, but I did keep up with it with Mudahar and Carl Jobs videos on it, so I'm like already aware. So, you know, right now, you know, you're just doing a little recap for me.
Right.
This is what Mudahar said.
Dragon Ball Z.
Word.
this before he's back.
I'll just say
So
right
for the
now
most part, if you ask me about the whole completionist thing and what I feel like he did was if it was wrong or not, I feel like for the most part, it is extremely suspicious that he actually kept the money for so long, like a year and a half. Like a year and a half, that's a pretty long time. If you wanted to make a lump sum payment to like the what is it called, the charity, I'm like, you can do that. That's fine. That does make a lot of sense. But also, you got to realize people are going to be like, why are you keeping our money for like a year? I thought you were going to give this to the charity instantly. Like I could have donated the money to the charity.
Right. And
You know
also,
what I mean?
also, it's not really a. Is it illegal? I'm not sure how it runs in charities, but if we're talking about deceptive business practices, if you have a product like your foundation, you are trying to advertise it to people, to be misleading or to be very very vague about like working with these benefactors. They're labeling them as benefactors, which implies
Hmm.
that they've donated money to them, even though they had not done that, is disingenuous and will lead people to be more interested in donating to you if you've already insinuated that you've donated to these charities. That is deceptive in nature. Now, whether a lawyer could join the stream and say, well, that's not actually an illegal rule because of charity and whatnot, I don't know. Like, I'm not a fucking lawyer. Don't take me as one. But if we're just looking at it as people looking at things like this, we can look at that and go, that's deceptive as fuck. That's like, you are being disingenuous. And he knew for, at the bare minimum, a year, if not well over a year, that the funds hadn't moved. And why would anybody that is watching him or attending these indie lands or donating the money, why would any of them think to themselves, oh, yeah, it's okay that it's all being, that it's all collecting in a lump sum? Like, that's my assumption is they're just holding all this money year after year to finally make a donation. I think anybody that had donated to it, anyone that was keeping up with it, at the bare minimum, had they found out about this or had Gerard like taken a step forward, they would have been interested to know what that plan was. Because when you don't
Oh
bring it
hell
up,
yeah!
you don't send that info anywhere, it's a bit weird. It's a bit strange.
Oh hell yeah! I would say the exact same thing because like if you like it no one would have been mad if they said, "Hey, we're gonna donate this money like next year or in a year and a half." No one would be mad because then they know my money is going here for this purpose. It's gonna be held for this long. They're gonna be doing this with it. But whenever you like give me money and I'm gonna donate to charity, and then people hear like a year and a half later you didn't donate shit to charity. Excuse me. Hey! I want that back. Give my money
Yeah.
back.
I'll wait till you are certain that you're going to be making a donation one way or the other, and then I'll take part, because that's how they were making it seem the entire time.
Exactly. So like, yeah, it seemed sketchy because I mean like it was like it was extremely sketchy.
Yeah, if this was him messing up, I don't think he would credit it being called out to then act upon it. He would have acted upon it sooner, right? Well, I mean, you can mess up and like his family was in on it. There's a very clear uh, like relationship dynamic between him and his family that is it's very intense. Like, he is after his father's approval. And we're going to go over his full kind of response after this, which will kind of give us a bit more of a picture. Keep in mind, like, I'm showing you guys all this stuff leading up to it, as bad as it is, with the intention of showing you his new response video where he made like he looked back on this, he reflected on this, and he talked about it. Carl Jobs has said that he's lied about some very clear things, but on other parts, he's being like, it's very good info to have now. So it's like, I want to show you guys this stuff so that we don't deal with recency bias when we're looking at this stuff. But that doesn't mean that his new response video is riddled with inaccuracies, is completely bullshit, and he's like a terrible person. I just want to make sure you guys have this and just be honest with what we're seeing. And then when we take a look at the new thing, look at that with the context of this. I don't care if he, like, obviously it'll be crazy if he's still a piece of shit and he's done something diabolic in this new response, but I'm much more interested in just seeing, okay, how does it stand up to, how this was covered in the past? And if it ends up completely rectifying the situation, then great. Good. He was a well-liked YouTuber that did incredible stuff. I'm not preying on this guy's downfall. I'd rather know what is true and what isn't. But cool, if he has access, definition of holding the pocketbooks. I mean, yeah, he was a part of it, but I don't know. I wouldn't call it that. But okay, last
know
bit
he was
of
on
this
that
here.
shit.
There was definitely there was a lot of guilt tripping throughout that entire video.
Yes.
Or throughout that entire call. We absolutely have to cover this just for the fact that this is.
I think we missed it, but they were in the call with him. He ended up disconnecting, and they're talking to each other, going, "Yeah, that was fucking crazy. He was guilt tripping us and stuff. We got to make videos now."
Is an actual piece of fraud. Like, this is legitimate fraud.
When Gerard reconnects, after levying his woes on Carl and Mutahar, he plays his hand and asks,
I take it that you guys are dead set on making pieces about this.
I mean,
like-
I'm
Yeah.
definitely covering.
All right. Well, I guess that's it. I guess that's all she wrote.
This was all happening behind the scenes. On November 12th, Gerard, aware of the coming storm, streamed, keenly aware of what was coming.
If you guys ever wonder what I look like after I get destroyed by the internet for anything, I just do this as best I can. No, I just mean like if something bad happens and I'm like feeling sad.
The following day, Mutahar and Carl Jobst released their videos.
Their website clearly states they support the UCSF, and they have a quote from David Kessler, the Dean of the UCSF School of Medicine, thanking them for their gift. But the interesting thing about David Kessler...
This is also the weird stuff. I'm deeply grateful for your recent gift to TU UCSF School of Medicine. Your support of frontotemporal dementia and related degenerative diseases research is invaluable. This was from their family. From what I understand, this was not from the Open Hand Foundation, although they advertised it as such. This was just them making the donations themselves personally. I think it was in regard to, might have been specifically, hold on. Great events, giving a partner. Yes, as I said, this came from David Kessler, so this is literally on their website. So yeah.
Kessler is that he was fired as the Dean of the UCSF School of Medicine in 2007, 7 years before OpenHand was even officially registered. If they have been looking for a beneficiary since 2014, why has Gerard been claiming they support organizations across the world, including the UCSF and the Alzheimer's Association?
We are raising money for dementia research in honor of my late mom, trying to help folks who've been impacted by dementia, working with organizations like USF, FTD Association of America, Alzheimer's Association of America, and so many more.
Why is he claiming the money is actually given to people who know how to use it? Now that they brought it up, if the filings do show an accurate account of what happened, I do think this is illegal and would be considered charity fraud. Generally, taking money by dishonest means is considered fraud. You just can't tell people to give you money under a false pretense. And
That's specifically the point I was talking about too, the false pretense and them donating money given those false pretenses. From what I understand from the verbiage that I've seen him use over and over again, he's never directly saying in no uncertain terms that they have donated to these people, but he's referenced them as benefactors, that he's worked with them for years. You would only assume in the context of talking about his charity that means that they've donated. Like that's what it is. And another good point that was brought up was Carl Jobst and a lot of people accused him of embezzling and stuff, and that has to do with like some of the numbers that were brought up in this information that were brought up during this case and whatnot. A lot of the numbers weren't adding up. There was quite a few instances where finances just weren't making sense, that there was money that was just kind of like disappearing, or that they were labeling expenses as just expenses and not being very transparent about what those expenses were. And so this claim from Carl Jobst or whatnot is not directly and wholly unfounded. Like, there were reasons that they could assert those claims, while like I wouldn't personally be one to go, yeah, for sure, because I haven't looked at everything. It wasn't just pulled out of thin air. They were looking at this info, and the responses that were made by the Completionist, outside of maybe up until now, I haven't seen like the tail 20 minutes of it. Gerard, the Completionist, never included any fucking documents showing what these expenses were, any of this information. So a lot of people were left to assume, in light of responding to all these allegations levied his way, at the very least he'd bring receipts, and he never did. And that was really perturbed. That was really confusing or strange to a lot of people, including Carl Jobst, which for him, after making this big hit piece and everything, well, you're led to assume, if you're not going to bring the receipts that could easily refute anything that I have to say about this, you got to be doing something bad. And so that's kind of the line of thinking that Carl Jobst went down. He said, I think someone had brought it up earlier, he was directly claiming that Gerard was embezzling money out of the foundation. Whether that's true or not, I'm not here to tell you. I would be led to believe. Just kidding. I don't fucking know. But I wouldn't say that that's like even following close to potentially being defamation or anything along those lines, because it's not like he's just pulling that out of his ass and being deceptive on purpose. He's got some reasons to defend that point. But I think that kind of wraps up the important bits. We talked about that, the golf part of it. Again, like I'll leave a matter of fact, I'll just link this here in chat. Take a look at this video or bookmark it, go through it and watch it yourself too, if you'd like. It's a really, really good fucking video on it. Of course, like check out Carl Jobst's and Mudahar's as well if you guys would like to. Bookmark it, check it out later. It's got a lot more useful stuff. I don't want to go over every single piece because I'm not trying to frame it one way or the other, but those are like kind of the big points. And that leads us into you deserve answers. Now, did you get to take a look at this video?
Now, I haven't saw this video at all because I was
Okay.
like, I want to see it with you. You know,
No,
we're gonna have a
totally
nice
fine,
little
totally fine.
movie night. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna be going over this. We're gonna be reacting to it. It's like the biggest like reaction video I've ever covered. It was first brought up by Mooney in a video where he went after Carl and Mudahar for costing charities money. Money for interesting. What is this? We were saving money for selling big defense he's using now was never brought up until now. He brought it up in the phone call. From what he literally brought that up in the phone call. And you're right, it had never been brought up prior to that. YouTubers scammers charity. YouTubers scams charity. If only I had $1. How dare people investigate their dodgy practices, right? So here's that video. And he's got curly hair now. And we got to hear what was going on.
I kind of like the style. It's quite nice.
Best top comment here. Don't worry, Mood is not an engineer either.
Damn.
It's a fresh start. Okay.
Still don't trust Jared? I'm like, hey man, it's up to you. It is a personal thing.
Yeah, he definitely looks a lot better. The beard, a lot cleaner. I'm led to believe that he's about to hit a 180 here.
Hey everyone, my name is Gerard Khalil. In 2012, I started my YouTube channel, That One Video Gamer, and for the last 13 years of my life,
I know it's really dumb. I'm led to believe he's sitting on his knees in front of the camera because he's sitting right in front of his bed.
No,
and it's just such a weird angle. I don't know why.
I don't think I think he's sitting in front of the bench. There's no way he's sitting on
yeah, he's not sitting on the bench. He's got to be like either crisscross applesauce or on his knees. It's a dumb thing.
Yeah, there's too much bench space.
That's all I could think about when I was watching it the first time, and I had to fucking just put earbuds in and listen to it without looking at it.
I've been completing games and making a lot of videos about the things that I absolutely love. On November 13th, 2023, two content creators named Carl Jobst and Mudahar Anas made videos detailing on how my family's charity, the Open Hand Foundation, had not made a contribution since its founding, despite numerous fundraisers and misleading statements by myself about charitable partners. Within a matter of days, and before I really had...
It's right there, just fresh out the gate, being dead honest about it. Like he was saying, by
myself about charitable partners. Fundraisers and misleading statements by myself about charitable partners. Within a matter of days, and before I really had any opportunity to present any information of my own, the narrative had shifted. I was being accused of embezzlement and charity fraud, with Carl and Mudahar directing their viewers to report my family's charity to the authorities, prompting a criminal investigation by the Department of Justice. We were informed...
So they were fully investigated by the Department of Justice. Well, almost directly fully. They're still waiting on that last meeting.
The investigation officially wrapped up in the fall of 2024. All that remained was a meeting with the Department of Justice to clear up any lingering questions, such as why the Open Hand had been mass flagged in the first place. I was constantly told by the Department of Justice that this is the final meeting, and the final meeting was right around the corner. But officially now, over a year has passed since then. I didn't want to speak publicly about this whole investigation until I had those final results in my hand, hence my silence all this time. The honest truth is that the Department of Justice will not respond to any emails, despite telling Open Hand's lawyers that they're interested in one final meeting to close the case. It has been over a year waiting on this matter, and the fact of the matter is, I need to move on. Whenever I get this final documentation, whatever it says, I don't care what it is, I will share the results with whatever I am legally allowed to share as soon as I can. And I am still absolutely confident that the accusations of fraud and embezzlement will be proven false. However, even if we never broke the law, serious moral mistakes were still made by myself and the foundation. The Open Hand took far too long to donate. We never explained why it took so long until after everyone called us out. And I lied about this for all of Indieland's years, both knowingly in 2023 and unknowingly in all the years before.
So fully admitting, like, again,
Oh, yeah.
crossing all of those, and for what it's worth, at the very beginning, like, good so far. He's completely admitting, yeah, I fucked up. He's saying we a lot. That's okay. He's softening the blow. I don't really care. He's being very, very candid in the fact that they morally were being a bit bankrupt. Whether or not the Department of Justice comes out, finds that there was any legal wrongdoing, or specifically illegal wrongdoing, taking accountability for the fact that they were being misleading and that wasn't okay is, number one, big step over what Carl Jobst was doing when he kind of got called out for the way that he handled and went over his own lawsuit with Billy Mitchell. It took him like a video and a half to kind of like, okay, you're right. Clearly, I made the impression that this was about video game high scores and not the fact that I was getting sued for saying that, this guy probably died because of Billy Mitchell. So, like, I gotta say, he's beating out the people that were going after him. So there's that.
It doesn't matter what.
Oh, go for it.
Oh, I was gonna say in the Carl's Jobs, I saw the whole video where he was responding to the whole Billy Mitchell thing. For the most part, it kind of just seemed like he wanted to flex that he's still rich in there.
Yeah.
Like, he just was saying like, "Oh well, my wife owns the assets now, so go away, na boo boo."
Yeah, I mean,
So
he
at
declared
least he is-
bankruptcy, all that stuff. It all went to his wife, which you're like legally allowed to do. But like, they still had to buy it all. Like she had to
Yeah.
buy out his thing, had to buy out this, and this. But I mean, yeah, it was essentially you're spot on. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Kind of explanation either I or anyone else involved might provide. This happened, and rightfully so, it pissed off everyone. To my viewers and donors, friends and collaborators, I am so sorry for hiding the truth. It was selfish, full stop. I want you all to have the context as to how everything happened, but nothing I've said so far is an excuse, and neither is anything else in this video. All of this is on me. Even if it wasn't exactly how I imagined things would go, my goal always was to make sure this money got donated to the right place as quickly as possible, and I'm immensely thankful that it got done. So, with that in mind, I'm sure many of you still have a ton of questions, especially about why this happened in the first place and where I've been for the past year. I want to take some time to tell my side of the story and how we got here, but I also want to clear up many of the false accusations made against me, along with addressing the individuals who not only broke this story, but pushed it into the realm of conspiracy. So, yes, just in case all of you are wondering, this is in fact scripted. I am reading from a script. But I want to be clear, the words that you're hearing today...
How fucking dare he use a script, dude?
This piece of shit.
Vile.
And
Not from the heart.
footage. So for now, let's go back to where all this began, with my mom. When I was young, I lost my mom to...
Okay, he talks about where this all started. We kind of went over this already.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to the important.
However, after we finished our 5th show in November of 2022, I spoke with my family about all the good we were doing, and I really wanted to get a representative from one of our charity partners to come and speak at Indieland 2023. Only then did I learn that the Open Hand Foundation had never made a contribution since its founding, and there were no official partners.
Now, I should say this too. And I'll bring it up just to show you guys what I'm talking about. This is not to say let's take everything that he is saying in this video with a grain of salt. I'm actually I'm going to be arguing the opposite of that. Now, Carl Jobst made a post on Twitter. Carl Jobst. I don't know why I keep saying Jobst. And he said, the recent Gerard video is unfortunately full of lies again. My next video will be a response. After experiencing my own public backlash, I sympathize with what he went through. It truly isn't pleasant. His persistent dishonesty is really baffling, though. I've made plenty of mistakes. There are plenty of things to criticize me for, and I will attempt to own them as much as possible. But for some reason, he felt compelled to straight up lie about things that are easily disproved. He ended up getting ratioed by Billy Mitchell. Remember RickySauce.com discount code Carl Loss for 10% off, which is objectively funny.
Some Ricky Sauce.
I might have to cop. Carl Jobs' major disappointment. But he's saying this. Now, we don't know what he is saying that he is being dishonest about. We don't know what he is claiming that Gerard is being dishonest about. So for the sake of this, and I'm hoping to cover like any future update from this, but let us just, for the sake of it, if you want to keep up with me or anybody else, like sub, shameless plug, all that thing. But we're going to take a look at this as, taking it for what it's worth, taking it at face value, treating it as such. And then when Carl Jobst comes out with his claims or with the video that he's making, talking about what he thinks that he's being dishonest about, I'll cover that and we'll go over it. But I don't want to just look at this entire thing with a complete suspicion when we can just take it in as he is delivering it to us, as Gerard is setting it up for us, and then we can deal with what is being dishonest later down the line. It won't be useful to be suspicious of stuff that has no reason to be outside of just someone saying that it should be, right?
Yeah.
So
I would say for the most... Oh, no.
Oh, please.
Oh, no. I was going to say for the most part, I really don't know. Obviously, I don't know what he would be lying about in the video, because so far, I'm like, obviously, we haven't seen the whole video
right.
yet. But, like, so far, it doesn't even seem like he would be lying about anything, because, like, from what Carl Jobst and Mudar did, I'm like, shit, it's all out there. What would he be lying about at this point? Like, brother, your whole financial history's out there at this point. I'm like, fuck it.
Right. And, like, I can understand the claim. I mean, the point is, like, he couldn't have picked a better time. Like, Carl Jobst just lost a lawsuit with one of his biggest haters, and it's completely shifted a good chunk of people's perception of Carl. And then Mudahar was
even
just
lost.
Shit too. Oh,
not even just lost. Motherfucker lied to gain actual like help, like people funding his GoFundMe, I think, something like that, for the lawsuit. So like, not
similar
only
to Gerard,
did he lie,
similar to Gerard,
like,
wasn't like directly like saying shit, but it was the implication which people like hate even more. It's like, oh, so you're gonna get off of the plausible deniability of like not saying the shit. Ugh.
It's so like he's like Gerard. I'm gonna be honest here. It's absolute cinema. The time I swear to God, he probably pre-recorded this like 4 months ago.
This is a gamer move,
and now he's just putting it out.
This is a gamer move for this to come out right now, as it is.
Brother is ulting right now. He is legitimately ulting.
He waited for Carl and Mudahar to essentially die out of bounds. No ults, every ability on cooldown, and now he's hitting him with a full.
Brother's literally Timo right now, hiding in a bush, threw down all of his little shrooms, and now he's watching them step into it.
We're effectively tear-zooing this response as gamers. That's incredible. Okay.
Oh, hell yeah.
Degeneracy out of the way. Hold on. But he never claimed restricted donations prior to being called out. He just kept saying that OHF was one of the major funding partners. Correct. I think people are still arguing with Denny. The snuck premise here again is that OHF was being dishonest or scammy. They were not. They were being dishonest. they were not like scammy for sure. We haven't seen it like really much proof of that, but rest.
All of the money was sitting there, untouched and accounted for, ready to be donated. But at the time, there was a massive disagreement between myself and my family. I personally thought it was important that the money be donated right away. Meanwhile, my family's perspective was very different than mine. They had been negotiating with several organizations to establish contracts to take a bulk sum of money as a restricted donation. These conversations revealed that many of these potential organizations were happy to take the money, but didn't want to track what they saw as a low sum compared to the 6 to 7 figure amounts they were used to receiving from mostly corporate interest groups.
Well, they did have at least 100K. They had half of a 7-figure sum. I think that's important.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But I also
that's a pretty big chunk.
Yeah, I also wanted to point out. So he's talking about how he was having a disagreement with some family members, and I think that's fair. I do think something that is important to point out is, and this is kind of like I'm like kind of seeing this in real time now. Carl Jobst had reached out to some of his other family members. And I'm so glad I jumped exactly to where I needed to go. One of these emails that he got responded back
is it was Jock asking Carl.
He got a response back from, and I believe this is his brother, if I'm not mistaken.
This notion of money before the body to help with research.
So I believe this is his brother. So they go over this, and then at the very bottom of it, they go, could you recommend any organizations or research entities that share our vision could be potential collaborators in advancing our mission? Now, there's a very good chance that this guy that we're talking about here also was not a part of this disagreement, like a part of the group that was disagreeing with Gerard about where to move these funds. But it's also clear that there was another family member. Maybe this is to try to save face, but that doesn't really make sense because they're the ones that are supposed to be seeking out these people and having negotiations, like Gerard is referencing, to come to an agreement to get this donation to one of these groups. Why would they be asking Carl Jobst, who just reached out and had an inquiry about what they were doing with this pile of money, that they're asking him, you got any good recommendations? Like, it's your fucking job as a part of this foundation to be doing that yourself. Why are you asking someone that's come with critique? Like, that's...
He don't even know.
It's supposed to be your thing. So again, maybe this isn't one of the people that he's talking about in his family. He doesn't specify, but it is weird. And so I do want to point that bit out.
After a lot of tough conversations over the years, my family settled on a goal of raising $1 million before donating, hoping that this would be a massive milestone that would help organizations to take the foundation way more seriously. But I didn't know about any of this, and I didn't care. I wanted it to go to a reputable charity that would do great things with it right away. That means foundation way more seriously. A milestone that would help organizations to take the foundation way more seriously. But I didn't know about any of this, and I didn't care. I wanted it to go...
I don't know specifically what he's talking about not knowing about. That seems a bit weird.
Go to a reputable charity that would do great things with it right away. That means for the next 12 months, I knew about the money not being donated and was having constant conversations to get it to the right place, trying to repair relationships and negotiate in good faith with several different potential benefactors. Since it was now up to me to get this money donated, I needed to stay on the board of directors for Open Hand, at least until the donation was officially made. It was around this point that I realized that I would negotiate in good faith with several different potential benefactors. Since it was now up to me to get this money donated, to get it to the right place, trying to repair relationships and negotiate in good faith with several different potential benefactors.
So I'm confused now. It seems like there's implication that there was a broken... So I think he might be alluding to what he talks about later, or maybe I missed some of it earlier. But a lot of these these organizations ended up like fucking off from them after all this drama came out because they're like, we're not going to touch you because there's a lot of bad press around you.
It was now up to me to get this money donated. I needed to stay on the board of directors for Open Hand, at least until the donation was officially made. It was around this point that I realized that I was in way over my head. I had just lost my job at G4, and finances were a complete mess all around for myself and my company. I was scrambling to get the Completionist restructured with new ideas and a new tone, and I was practically traveling or doing some work event almost every single week, almost the entire year. But everything was up in the air, and all of it was on me, all at once. And on top of all this was the news that I now had to fix a problem that had been unknowingly brewing for several years. However, even at this point, I couldn't just do whatever I wanted. And this is where the real conflict started. I tried my best to express how upset I was, how upset all of you would rightfully be, and that this could cost me and so many people who worked with me everything we had created and built together.
Now, I might get pause champed here. He might end up giving a reason for this. My biggest thing through all of this, just try not to make eye contact, Zooks. It's totally okay. Is he had a year and a half knowing that the money wasn't moved anywhere. He had all of that time and such a good opportunity to go, hey, so I just found this out. Maybe that's shitty of me for not keeping in touch with the organization that I am literally a part of and that I run a event for, that all that money goes to our Open Hand Foundation. Maybe I should have been keeping in touch with that a little bit more. But regardless of that, they haven't donated anything because they're waiting to accrue a large lump sum to send to someone and do it like very specifically, do it in this way. I'm not with that. I don't think that's cool, but it's family owned. I have an issue where I can't just make this, I can't just do this. And I want to be fully transparent with you guys. So maybe you don't donate if you don't feel comfortable with that. Because at the end of the day, maybe that'll get their asses into gear and they'll understand where I'm coming from, that I'm worried that you guys don't think this is okay, and we'll get this money donated to the right place. I'm just riffing that. Now, I could be wrong. That sounds like a great fucking way to get the ball rolling, or at the very least, be transparent with the people that have donated thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars over the last year, like hundreds of thousands over the last getting close to a decade at that point. Like, correct me if I'm wrong.
I want.
Is that
I
not
just want to
crazy?
know what number. Like, what number is he trying to hit? What is this big lump sum that he needs to hit?
Well,
that he
and
hasn't
again, he's not saying
said?
him, but they were hoping to get a 6 or 7 figure, which really is telling me they wanted to hit $1 million. Like, because they're already way past 6 figures. They're at $500,000.
Yeah, like what does that do for you? Like, is this like a scoreboard? Like, you're not hitting the top rank. You're not even top 10. Like, what?
Right. And it's like, I can understand. Yeah, you want it to be like large enough, but like 100,000 is crazy. Like, you're on your way to $1 million. And again, like, we're kind of arguing for the sake of arguing, because I mean, he's making the claim, let's just like take it as that his father or other people that are a part of the foundation wanted to get it to $1 million. That's okay. But he just had to be transparent in any way, shape, or form. And that would have saved him so, like, maybe there would have been bad press because it's like, why haven't you come out with this sooner? Why weren't you paying attention to it? It's like, okay, that is infinitely better than hiding the entire thing regardless. Because, like, at the end of the day, the info is going to come out. Like, it's a 501c or whatever fucking type of charity it is. It's going to be public. He talks about how much money is like getting in, that is being donated every year. He's giving the numbers for that. It just took just one person looking it up to find this out. Like, they were going to find out, oh, you just made this huge $1 million donation. I'm sure there wouldn't have been as much bad press because they actually donated the money, but it would have been like, wait, so you weren't donating all the other years leading up to it? Like, it still would have come out. So it's just, I guess he was hoping that he'd be able to do all of that after the money was made, after it was donated, because that would have suppressed this, I would say, a great deal. So that, I guess that makes sense. But you can say that he was panicked, but he had a year. He had a year to work through that, talk with people, have a conversation. I'm just looking at this as a fucking dork that does drama commentary and going, like, that's the first thing that I thought of was like, you could just tell people. And like, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy for that. What do you think, Fish?
I feel like this man probably should have just donated the fucking money. Like, I don't understand. Like, what game was he playing with? Like, trying to get some high score by donating $1 million. Like, what does that do for you? What? Like, how does that help anyone? The money also was losing value over time by sitting in a bank account. It probably wasn't like a high yields account or anything.
They weren't even investing it. They were literally losing money on it.
Exactly. So I'm just like, you are doing the dumbest thing possible by A, keeping it, and then B, even if you did donate $1 million, like, don't get me wrong, $1 million is a lot of money, but like $500K was a lot of money back in 2015. Like, that's the new million now, or I guess that was the old million, which is $500K back in 2015. But like, brother,
man,
you are doing everything wrong in the sense of a charity. You're hoarding money so you can make a big, I guess, big balls donation that no one's gonna give about. Fucking who? I'm pretty sure, doesn't Dr. Lupo do like a charity every year? They donate $1 million or whatever. It's like, bro, you're not even making like a splash. Like, you gotta donate $1 billion now if you want to be a content creator.
And like
a million is doing shit.
right. And I'm seeing like people are now this isn't directly a scam. Like call a spade a spade. This wasn't a scam. Like from what we understand, like there are a couple
Skim off the
$1,000s that are unaccounted for. Like don't get me wrong, that could be looked into. The Department of Justice is looking into it. We'll have an answer for that when the information is presented or when it's like the case is finally closed. But it's not a scam. Like the money was going to the foundation, the hand one, and they did make the donation. Now, the time that it took them to do that is suspicious. It is weird. And this guy was
Extremely.
also being incredibly misleading with his statements, which he has admitted. That's not to say that that like helps the point anymore. But the point I'm making is that I mean, Denny here is saying I would agree with them. It is not a scam, but it felt scammy. It felt very scummy, and it was misleading. Does that constitute it being a scam? I wouldn't say that. Now, if we end up finding that they were taking money off the top and they were throwing it under expenses, and the Department of Justice comes out and goes, "Yep, that did happen. Now we're finding them." Whatever. I'm willing to have that conversation, but based off the info and the fact they made the donation, I don't see that as being a scam more than it is just being incredibly misleading for how they handled the donations. They still did the donation.
But I feel like we need to figure out what is the purpose of this lump sum donation. Like, does he get something for this? Like,
I think it's just like
why?
there's recognition in it. Like to have it go public that you were able to generate $1 million that got donated to a charity, like that's going to make other sponsors interested in funding your charity. It's gonna give them viewership. It's gonna give them attention, which is gonna lead to more donations and hopefully get the ball rolling. Like charity itself, from what I understand, is a lot of just shaking hands and kissing babies and keeping up appearances and looking really, really good for people to donate money to, because that's you getting to do what you set out to do, which is donating and accruing as much money as you can to the charities and foundations that you want it to go to. So it's like there is a lot of, there's a lot of good things that come out of a charity or like their foundation. I keep kind of using them interchangeably, but them going around this route because they're also trying to get, that attention of doing something like this and developing these kinds of relationships because it only ends up benefiting them. They're going to accrue more money to get to donate more money.
I feel like if they just took the money and donated it and then just added on whatever the fucking inflation was for it, they probably would have donated more money and they could have just misleadingly said that number, which technically would have been true if you took into account for inflation.
Yeah. So it's weird. I'm still a bit perplexed by it, but.
And I was simply brushed aside. I had learned the hard way that the charity world moves at a glacial pace, and I've been going around touting all these organizations and all the good we'll be doing for many years, only for all of it to be a bunch of empty promises. Even after I stepped up, my best efforts to donate as fast as possible would never be good enough, as every decision I wanted to make now had to be approved by a long list of people on both the open hand side and the potential benefactors that I have been speaking with. So I feel that some context on my family might be helpful right here.
Whoops, I was muted. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like,
so I'm just pantomiming. Thank you guys. So my biggest issue with his claims here, he is the person that is leading, like he is the reason 90% of the money that is going into this charity is going into the charity. Like he is the person through Indieland getting all this to them. So the fact that he is dealing with all these issues, like I'm struggling to understand how they wouldn't take that like obviously there's the familial aspect of it and the disparity there and the drama that is interpersonal with his family.
Yep.
But it's really strange that hold on.
There's I have been speaking long list of people on
this glacial pace that he has to get things approved. Like he's the reason that most of this is coming through and getting handled. I don't understand why him being worried that the people donating, like out of anyone that's going to have a pulse on how the people that have donated so far and are planning to through his organized events are going to feel about this information, he'd be the one to know. So I feel like him having hey, we should probably get this stuff done because, like, I know the people that have sent money are under the impression, because I've been telling them that. I've been telling them that it's getting donated. I've been telling them that we're working with these people. I think it'd be important for that. I'm blown away that the argument then is like, oh, it had to get approved by this person, this person, this person, this person. Like, it's hard to believe that. I don't know. And again, it's just because I'm lacking the nuance of the actual situation dynamic that existed at the foundation. But it feels weird.
All this for 500K, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think this should be having like 18 tiers of middle managers you got to go through to donate 500K.
Right.
Both the open hand side and the potential benefactors that I have been speaking with. So I feel that some context on my family might be helpful right here. I'm the youngest of 5 in a first-generation Lebanese immigrant household. My dad has always loomed large in every aspect of my life, and that absolutely extended to my own experiences with the Open Hand Foundation, and at times, even my own business. The expectations were that I should have been an engineer, or I should have been a lawyer. Instead, I'm a
Udahar taking a knee for that one.
Video producer who plays video games on the internet for a living. If you ever watched the Completionist live show from a few years ago, then all of this should sound pretty familiar to you. I did not have the final call on any major decisions when it came to the Open Hand and its finances. I was one of many people in charge. To my family, I was seen as the video game guy, not the business guy or the charity guy. Regardless, the outcomes were absolutely my responsibility because all of you at home.
Now, I'm not going to say that I don't know. He could be spot on. Like, families will do that. Like, there are black sheep and whatnot. My thing is that he is the video game guy that is the sole reason that they are getting 90% of the donations that they are.
Exactly. Like, oh no, son, there's no way you could handle 500K. You only generated millions of dollars with your YouTube channel. It's like, what? How does that make sense?
Yeah.
Home donated your hard-earned money and time and did so with your trust in me in mind. So when I learned the truth, I made it my goal that no matter what happened, the money had to get donated. There was no other outcome that I would allow. And that's where the real nasty core to all of this is. Nobody embezzled or touched any money, no crime was committed or covered up here, and the results of the Department of Justice's investigation will hopefully one day be proof of this. The decision to wait to donate until the foundation raised $1 million, along with the struggle of figuring out why that was necessary in the first place, should have absolutely been communicated with all of you. The Open Hand Foundation, and myself especially, should have been more transparent with its struggles and its goals, period. A week after IndieLand 2023 had wrapped up, and before I could get back to the donation efforts and conversations I was having, my heart stopped when I saw an email to the Open Hand Foundation came from a one Carl Jobst. I'm very familiar with Carl's work, as he had been known at the time to be a groundbreaking creator that claimed to take down cheaters, liars, and scammers. And I knew what was coming next. A few days later, on November 10th, I received a message from another creator, Mudahar Anas, also known as Some Ordinary Gamers. I respected and trusted.
Okay, that's crazy. Dig yourself. Hope you're doing well. Your tweet on Radio Shack got recommended to me, and I realized I hadn't been following you. Okay.
Trusted Mudahar, so when he asked if I wanted to hop on a Discord call.
So this is important here, and this got noticed by I think some other people, not me. I might have seen it on Twitter or something. So he's going to make a point that he didn't know that Carl Jobst and Mudahar were working together on this. And the point that's been made is that in these, like he's going to say it in the video, the reason that people are confused by that is because you can read Mudahar's text here. Hey man, I was wondering if you'd be free for a call today. We got tipped off about a discrepancy with your guys' charity Open Hand Foundation. Just wanted to run some of the public documents with you and get your side of the story, doing due diligence here. Yeah, man, of course, I figured this was going to come up sooner rather than later, and that was something huge, and that something huge is coming. It's been building the last couple of days. I'm in the middle of meetings in the next hour or so. Would you give me a couple hours?
To talk about a discrepancy with some of the Open Hand Foundation's publicly available documents, I agreed, thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe we could chat this out and clear the air. No problem. Mudahar never once asked about the laws or regulations that Carl had asked about, so I had no reason to think they were collaborating together, especially since they had no prior history together online. I hopped on the call, assuming that this would just be the two of us, until my surprise, I saw Carl join. The rest of what's publicly available to all of you is essentially me having a panic attack while trying to be transparent with two creators I respected at the time, all at the behest of throwing my friends and family under several buses. I saw the headlines coming, and I spiraled, losing control of everything. I did my best to reiterate my family's infighting, the struggles with finding a donor for a restricted donation, and that no matter what was going to happen, all the money was accounted for and ready to be donated. And they even acknowledged that there was no evidence of embezzlement and that it's not even what they were asking about. So it gave me some hope that this whole thing could be recovered in some way.
I'm keeping it to the charity.
Yes, I definitely hear you.
What's up? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Give me some hope that this whole thing could be recovered in some way.
I'm keeping it to the charity and like the money and why it hasn't moved. I won't personally be mentioning anybody.
Wait, isn't Mudahar an engineer?
Yeah, he's. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, it's running.
The personal hell that you honestly have to go through. That's like a fucking no-no for me personally. On my end, and I'm sure on Carl's end, that's something that obviously I think we can abide by. That's just an ethics thing for any journalist, really. The very big silver lining is the money is there, according to every PP filing that I've seen. It can all be like done right, you know. This isn't a situation of actual embezzlement or, you know, money being moved to the fucking Cayman Islands or some cryptocurrency offshore. This is a situation that can be rectified for very positive sakes. But yeah.
I was terrified and I should have kept my mouth shut. But some part of me believed that if I was honest right from the get-go, maybe I could get out ahead of this and it could end up just being more of a cautionary situation for people to know. 3 days later, Monday, November the 13th, Mudahar and Carl released their videos and the story was broken.
Now, I hope he says something here, but it feels really fucking weird that he has now just framed this, knowing what we know now, listening to the rest of the call, that he just framed this as, yeah, you know what? There's a way to recover this, whatnot, and not including the part where he was manipulating them and was saying that all these people are going to lose their jobs, and then them going, he was kind of manipulating us like, hello, we need to make videos now. I hope he includes that info, but it's strange that he's leaving it out.
He's not. He's not.
Or maybe you will.
But
maybe you will.
It made donating even more important, but even more difficult due to the new online reputation of the Open Hand Foundation and myself. Many of these organizations we'd been speaking with suddenly wanted nothing to do with us, legally informing us to keep our distance, and the situation quickly became desperate.
Okay, it's not seeming like he's doing that, so okay.
Like I said, he's ready to get the fuck out. This boy is adding like, oh wait, boys, we got to get out. He's like in Tarkov right now. It's like, we got to exfil.
Yeah.
Thankfully, my brother and I were able to secure a meeting with AFTD the very next day. And by November 29th of 2023, the Association of Frontotemporal Dementia received $600,000 from the Open Hand Foundation. Soon after this donation was made, I resigned from my role on the board of directors, ending my relationship with my family's efforts in the Open Hand Foundation. The money that remained in the Open Hands account was intended to cover any future operating expenses or potential legal fees. That would prove to be important since the very next day on November 30th, we received a notice from the California Department of Justice that the Open Hand Foundation was now being investigated. All receipts were being sent over, and per legal advice, everyone's mouths were to be kept shut. The main priority for me was, at the very least, the $459,129.90 raised by Indieland donors would finally go to the original cause of dementia research in honor of my mother.
And just keep people aware, the other amount of money that was accruing in the account that got it to like the 650 something also came from the golf tournament that his dad orchestrated for like, and they took money during those events. And they also took money from sponsorships of those events.
At this point, my family and I were completely overwhelmed with the noise coming in. And as a result, we brought in several different professionals to help us determine how to even best respond to the ever-growing list of allegations. This is what finally led to my response on December 9th of 2023. All the information that I'm sharing with you right now and going to be sharing with you, this is what I wanted to say in that video. At the time, the Open Hands Foundation's legal counsel instructed me not to say or share anything because nobody knew what would be relevant to the pending investigation by the government. I was essentially handcuffed from telling the full story because our lawyers instructed me to not address any information potentially related to the ongoing investigation, which included receipts, potential evidence, and even fully admitting to any and all of my mistakes. When this response video failed to inspire folks to trust and believe in me still, I knew that my support systems were going to go away very quickly. My financial, legal, and community.
Now, I'm trying to be kind.
Mm-hmm.
But that comes off as the way that he just outlined and framed that comes off as him like he sounds dumb.
Support disappeared, inspired, admitting to any and all of my mistakes. When this response video failed to inspire folks to trust and believe in me still.
When it failed to inspire people to trust and believe in him still. In what we talked about in that response video, he didn't include a receipt for anything. He did not include a single fucking document of anything that was covered, anything that was made towards him, which is why Carl Jobs got really comfortable saying that he's embezzling money, why any person that went after him and critiqued him and the foundation were so comfortable. To make it sound like it failed to inspire people, it's like, well, you should know why. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand why that would not have done what you were hoping it would have, which is that you did not provide any evidence of your argument. You just said, trust me, bro. We didn't steal money. I'm not going to show you any receipts, but we didn't do it. Like, oh, okay. All right. Well, thank God you had a couple thousand blind followers. Like, no, people need to see some info.
No, we don't. We just take him at his word. Would he ever lie to us at all in general?
Yeah, would I lie to you guys? I know he doesn't sound like Kermit, but that's a funny bit. Yeah. But yeah, that just feels fucking weird.
I knew that my support systems were going to go away very quickly. My financial, legal, and community support disappeared overnight, with a lot of my friendships, both personal and professional, going away with it as well. It was clear that I had failed and my options were extremely limited. Over the course of the next 2 months, almost all the employees at That One Video Gamer were let go, and I spent most of my time clearing out the now defunct old office. I decided to continue making content as a way just to keep the lights on despite my legal silence. But by the summer of 2024, I eventually stopped producing new content altogether. I would go on to disappear from the lives of practically everyone I knew because I thought that in my own self-hating isolation that that's what everyone wanted from me. But in reality, I ended up doing a lot more harm than good by letting everyone else deal with the public responses. And that was extremely selfish of me. Without being able to truly apologize and take 100% full accountability for the things that I was responsible for, it felt like no one wanted to ever hear from me, let alone trust me ever again. To my moderators, my biggest fans that have rolled with me since day one.
So, yeah. And like, this is an emotionally pressing situation. Don't get me wrong. Like, I don't blame the guy for taking it as seriously as he would. Like, this is his livelihood. This is his career, and it's all gone. And if he truly doesn't recognize why that is, like why the events led into how they have led and why he has lost all this trust, yeah, this would really suck. It also comes off like he's kind of a moron. Because, like, how would you not understand that if you don't include any receipts, you don't include any information, why would anybody just blindly trust you? It doesn't make sense. And when things don't add up and then you don't rectify those, things not adding up, well, why would you expect people to trust you? Why would you expect if you disappeared off the face of the earth that, that would be good for anybody? Like, maybe he wasn't doing it with that intention. Like, he said he believed that was the right thing, but, like, this isn't going to amount in something good. And, maybe that's easy for me to say because I'm not in the middle of losing my career and all this like he was. But I think it's fair to give him a bit of like, well, this is an incredibly horrific thing. Like, if this happened to you in your life, for it to happen to you. So I don't necessarily blame him for being emotionally invested in that sense.
Mm-hmm. I feel like he probably should have at least tried to make a statement saying some like he did like I know the lawyer's gonna be like, oh, don't say anything at all, but he could have just been like, hey, we weren't embezzling any money, something, something. Like
Yeah.
bring people back, like bring out some kind of receipts that your lawyer's gonna be like a lawyer approved message, something, because like you just disappearing, it makes you look like a scammer. Like, oh, I got caught for embezzling hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm done uploading. He's like, excuse me, where did you go? Hey, come back. We weren't done. We weren't done
Right.
speaking here.
And I understand like the like having it go to an investigation to keep your mouth shut. That's totally fair. But he had so much time prior to that you know there were so many ways that could have eased or like eased the people that had donated, like eased like the entire public outrage for this. So yeah.
And especially to anyone who ever donated to Indieland in any way, shape, or form. So many of you. I put all of you in an unbelievably difficult situation, and for that, I am deeply sorry. To my past employees, I am so sorry that you've had to endure the sudden hardship of needing to find new employment with a resume that gamer and everything.
Okay. I mean,
whose fault is that?
Well, I mean, he's apologizing for it. It's his fault. It's a I would say too little, too late. Like, I mean, that it's more for the other people. I don't think it's necessarily relevant for us, but it's like, okay. Yeah. I mean, if this is what he wants to say in his video, it's what he wants to say in his video. Obviously, I'm gonna like, well, what the fuck's the point? But I'm just looking for the story. So I understand my horse in the race, but
Indieland and so much of TOVG's ambition and drive was from the three of you in your jar for how fun with Super Beard Brothers and is this. But I do want all of you to know that I am doing everything in my power to make it right. And on that note, I do want to talk a little bit about the progress update on AFTD's fight against dementia and how all the money you all donated is helping real people.
So he then goes into detailing what the restricted donation was able to accomplish, meaning like the money was donated to like it was like care packages for people who had just found out a family member like has FTD. So they were giving money to those people because, you know, the higher, you know, medical bills is given the fact that they're going to have to treat and take care of that individual. There were donations made. Wasn't from what I understand, it wasn't administrative funding. So that is great. The restricted donation did what it was supposed to.
Families who I do not think that I have gotten over the hardships and the trauma that I've experienced in my life with her and her.
And this is leading into addressing false claims.
Illness. She always taught me to do good, and I was trying to live through her to do good, and I'm still trying to do good to this day. You, as a viewer, deserve the facts, and especially the truth. That's why I want to clarify as many of the allegations against me as I can that are absolutely false. First, I want to address the idea that the open hand could quickly just donate the money the same way you can just click donate on a charity website or Venmo or PayPal a friend.
Almost everyone is screaming at them just to donate the money, which should be pretty easy to do.
One thing you'll see is they'll ask me to gift an amount that is as low as $35.
The short answer is no. If we wrote a check to a charity with no agreements on how that money gets spent or how it's tracked, we would never have received a report detailing how our donors' money was being put to use.
Okay, also really quick. Sorry.
Or Venmo or paint them false. First, I want to address the idea that the open hand could quickly just donate the money, verify as many of the allegations, especially the truth. You, as a viewer,
almost everyone is.
So hold on. I completely lost my train of thought. I'm gonna ignore it.
Screaming at them.
Sorry.
We wrote a check to a charity with no agreements on how that money gets spent or how it's tracked. We would never have received a report detailing how our donors' money was being put to use. It would likely have gone to funding administrative costs like accounting fees and executive salaries. It had to be restricted to make sure that it actually went to dementia research. And negotiating with many of these organizations is really tough when you aren't donating tens of millions of dollars.
Okay, so number one, I can't genuinely, and maybe that's just because that's not what I'm looking at. I genuinely cannot think of a time that like I don't know if Markiplier's done it. I don't know if any other like big charity, donating YouTuber streamer has ever done this. I don't think any of them have done have been known to do restricted donations. And I don't think I've ever heard a public outcry for people finding out that the donations that they sent into this charity, like through a YouTuber streamer, there was civil upheaval because they found out that this money was going to it was going to pay the administration of these charity orgs. If that's the case, then the money that's being donated by another group or organization isn't going to be covering administrative funds, which means that would be donating to charity. So it's still going to the charity. I don't know why. Like, it's weird that in their pursuit of making sure that they were able to track where the funds were going for these charities, they ended up making sure that none of it went to the charities until they got called out. Like, they ended up with the direct opposite.
Instantly.
Yeah, they did the direct opposite of what they needed to, which is crazy.
Like, there's so many YouTubers he could have literally talked to about this charity that would have told him, "Oh, this is how you do it the right way." Like, there's so many.
They knew how to do it. They were just like, well, we don't want it to just go to administrative funds. Like, we want to do it directly. It's like, okay, but like, it's not really like, I don't know any YouTuber. It's like, okay, we did that. And then people are like, oh, we found out that the money that was sent during this YouTube live stream or this Twitch live stream only went to administrative. Now we're upset at the YouTuber. Like, why didn't you do a restricted donation? I don't think that's ever been an issue. Like,
exactly.
That's what I'm so confused about. Yeah, it's a weird argument to make. I understand that that's their point, but like, for them to care so much about this, it baffles me that they never drew attention or made that clear when they were accepting donations. It's like, well, we want to make sure that your money goes directly to the research, so we're doing a restricted donation. That will require that we end up at, like, I don't know, we're talking in hindsight still, so I could be wrong about that, but it's a strange argument to make in the face of never actually getting it to a charity anyway.
Like, you didn't even donate shit, but yet you're like, oh, I wanted to donate in this way. It's like, well, you had the money. Why didn't you just donate that way?
Yeah, I wish you said it.
Plus, $600,000 was an astronomical amount of money, especially for me and my...
Sorry, why would you not want to pay admin costs of a company that is helping people anyway? Great fucking question. Also, like, if it costs $500K to pay the admin fees, they're going to need to take that from someone. So you're just moving that cost over to some other group that's giving the money to them. Like, it's not like, oh, well, no one put a restricted donation to our charity, so we're just going to pay the admins of the charity $1 bajillion and send $100 to the, to actually do the research.
And then on top of that, like, where does he think the money goes whenever he donates? It's not like all the money goes to getting exactly food for starving children. It's like, no, some of it goes to paying for the food. Then it goes to transporting the food. Then it goes to the people who give out the food. Then it goes to the people who did the logistics of all that.
Yeah.
Community.
Interesting.
But in the charity world, that's small potatoes. There's a ton more to this whole thing, but that's about the best explanation that I can personally provide because I am not a 501c3 lawyer or accountant. This stuff is unbelievably complex and it takes time to get it right. Simply put, it was functionally impossible for us to just donate the money in a website's donate button section while being responsible to the people who donated to us and the cause that we represented. That obviously does not excuse the fact that it took far too long to donate, but hopefully this at least explains why, even once you find a benefactor, it's still a very tedious process. Next, I want to talk about Twitch bits and Twitch subscriptions. If you don't know how bits and subs work, viewers can donate money in the form of Twitch bits, as well as subscribe to a Twitch streamer for perks like emotes and private streams. This money then gets split with Twitch, and the remaining balance then comes to the Twitch streamer at the end of the month. During the weeks of Indieland, all bits and subs that we received on the channel were put towards the donation goal throughout the event. I'm sure many of you have seen a lot of clips and memes at this point over the years where I have said we don't touch any bits or subs. Technically speaking, I do have to interact with them because I have to claim the income that comes to me and my company, and any money that Twitch pays out is income regardless of where it will end up going later on. However, either myself or my brother, sometimes referencing a meme name during the stream, referencing something that was taking place at the time in the stream, would donate various amounts of money that matched what we had received from Twitch viewers in real time up to that point directly to our Tiltify page. That way, the on-screen totals would match and no amount would ever get forgotten. If there was any discrepancy at the time, we made sure to donate extra to ensure accuracy, and sometimes that happened a few days after Indieland had wrapped up. We worked hard to figure this process out, as early on we didn't have everything locked in, but by the time we were done, that was our process. No matter what though, dollar for dollar, everything did go to charity. For full transparency, on screen right now you can see our revenue for Twitch bits and subs for every year of Indieland, and the document containing this data will be available for you down below. $459,129.90.
Okay, I hope he covers this, but the big issue that people have with these Twitch things that talking about the Twitch bits and donations isn't about that they weren't taking all the donations and getting them there. It's that they used money that they said was going to charity for administrative purposes. They literally used the donation money to pay for Indieland, like affording Indieland. Like they paid for Indieland out of pocket with this charity money. So it wasn't directly going to charity. Unless they are going to like say later on that they only used their YouTube funds to do that and that it did. Like that's the discrepancy that people are talking about, which is weird that he's making this argument. Maybe this was like maybe this is a part of the friction about it that I didn't see, but from what I understand, the big issue is that they said all the money from the Twitch donations in Indieland was going straight to charity, except he later said that they paid this out of pocket. So it's weird.
Was contributing,
which is also a bit hypocritical if he's willing to use the donation stuff and saying it's going to charity to cover the administrative costs of funding Indieland. If he wanted to do or well, I guess maybe that's not hypocritical because it wasn't in his hands, or at least he's saying that it wasn't in his hands to actually just make a direct donation right out, and that the rest of his family at the foundation wanted to do a restricted donation at like $1 million. So maybe that isn't hypocritical, but it's interesting.
Yeah. To the open hand by the fundraising efforts of That One Video Gamer, The Completionist, and Indieland. All of the money raised for Indieland went directly towards that sum, and absolutely none of it was used for either expenses or personal use.
There
this
it
can
is.
be corroborated by both our Twitch earnings and our unclaimed expenses year on year. The process of receiving...
All right, so I did get pause jammed. Okay.
...and tracking expenses or personal use. This can be corroborated by both our Twitch earnings and our unclaimed expenses year on year. The process of receiving and tracking Twitch bits and subs was a tedious extra layer to Indieland's operations, which is why we encourage viewers eventually over the years to donate directly to the Tiltified campaign instead. That way, donor money was going directly to the open hand, and I don't need to be the middleman at all in this situation. While we're talking expenses, let's address the claim that I used Indieland as a way to earn money from claimed expenses and gain clout from running a prestigious event with big-name celebrities and respected creators.
Of everyone in the entire world who benefits from Indieland, it's Gerard who benefits the most. He gets the Twitch followers, he gets the media attention, he gets to mingle with game developers and celebrities, he gets all the credit.
As it grew, Indieland became increasingly more expensive to produce, most of all in 2022, when we made it an attendable live show like we had promised our viewers in 2019. That One Video Gamer shouldered all expenses. That was my contribution to the cause. The general rule of thumb is that a non-profit charity should only spend around 25% of its income on expenses, and according to the BBB Wise Giving Alliance, 35% is the max amount to be considered a credible charity. The Open Hands operating costs, on average, were only 11.85% during the years that Indieland was being run.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what happened in 2015. 46%. Gosh, dang. But that, again, this is Indieland years, so they're saying 18.9%. Average expense 11. So they definitely lowered it afterwards. And we're just taking a look at these numbers. I'd be interested to see where this is coming from. But I mean, that's good to see.
I like how
we achieved this because Indieland had no claimed expenses.
Say that again, sorry.
And raised. Oh, I like how he literally just did a live stream with several different YouTubers and raised this exact same amount of money, if not more, within a year. But he wanted to do a golf tournament or whatever he
He
does.
wasn't doing the golf tournament. His dad was doing that.
Oh, okay. I see.
He's a part of the Open Hand Foundation, but he's not like he's one of his like 5 siblings and then his dad, or 5 in total.
I see.
To maximize donor contributions, and more importantly, it was a passion project for our team. This was our idea. This was our vision. This was our dream. In the now leaked Discord interview conducted by Carl and Mudahar, I had previously mentioned that some expenses were recouped by my company via Twitch revenue or reimbursements from the foundation. It actually turns out that I was wrong. No expenses were ever claimed by my company, either through Open Hand or through the Twitch revenue. Between travel expenses for guests, venue costs for 2022, food and drinks, and all sorts of other extras, that one video gamer spent...
Okay, this is good. This would be good info to prove. We need to know what this is. Like,
yeah.
Well, maybe I'm speaking too early. Okay. Financial records. Okay. So great. They made a fucking Excel spreadsheet that doesn't verify its authenticity. Okay, this looks a bit more King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. Funding for Innovative in April 2024. So this is this their donation to them?
Might be the flight logs.
April 2024, Pathways of Hope pilot grant was awarded for evaluating mutation implicants. So this is them talking about the research investigation stuff that led from their donations. So that's not a financial record. I mean, it's just like showing, I guess, it's showing what the funds were, what they did with the funds. The Office of Attorney has charitable organization. So the office performs its duties by conducting audits of charitable organizations. In this regard, please send the below listed documentation and information to the undersigned within 30 days of the day of this letter. As otherwise stated, documents and information produced in response to the below requests are to cover the period from 2014 to the present being 2023. Document to be produced. There's a native. Okay, so none of this is showing what the financials were. Why are you calling this financial records?
Hey man, he needs some. Oh,
and then this is just their videos.
Shrine, yeah. Research. What we got up in here?
So this is just links to their videos. Okay, so
no.
This is really frustrating. Okay, so here's my issue. Sorry if I wasn't making this clear. He's showing these graphs. We don't see this one again. He's showing these graphs. He's showing these arguments. He's showing this amount of money and whatnot. Just show us the documentation of you receiving these funds, of the money being sent. Like, that's the proof that people need. You can't just fucking throw up an Excel spreadsheet screenshot. I could make this and just put random fucking numbers.
Yeah, but you're not him. See, you're not running a charity.
That's a great fucking point. My bad. The one that's public that should just have this documentation on record. Yeah. You want people to trust you. Maybe just do the extra fucking hour of work and get the info and set it up and present it. This isn't proof. And to label it as such, this is literally you just made a fucking YouTube playlist of all the greatest hits from Mudahar and Carl Jobst of them calling out your shit. And then the financial records is proof that you got audited. And then what the fuck was the other one? Proof you got audited, what the donation of the 600K did after you donated it. And then literally the Excel spreadsheet that you showed earlier with no proof of where those finances came from. I don't have to be disingenuous or be skeptical. That's not proof of anything. Like outside of them making the donation, which was made public, and the foundation that they donated to announced it, that's not proof of anything. That's so weird.
Approximately 8.
Okay.
$88,000 running Indieland across all 6 years. This also doesn't include the tax burden that one video gamer took on by processing Twitch bits and subscriptions, plus the man hours dedicated to preparing for and running these events. That's hundreds of hours from 5 full-time employees being paid to put this event on together year after year. In short, we spent tens of thousands of dollars of my company's own money to run a charity that we did not get paid for, not for clout, but because we cared. Many employees volunteered additional time to make Indieland happen, and I did not make this mandatory for their duties. We were all building this thing together. This event belonged to the staff who put it together, and they did it because they wanted to. They cared immensely about both indie games and victims of dementia. I am insanely proud of my team, and we only succeeded as much as we did because of their unbelievable dedication. I was the face, yes, and I did have final say, but this was our baby, not just mine. I am so proud of the showrunners, producers, editors, and run with this, saying that this is further proof that Open Hand did not comply with the law. In reality, the Open Hand's legal counsel was instructed by the Department of Justice to this delinquency status. Online have noticed that the Open Hand Foundation. Okay. As a final note, I want to add that many online have noticed that the Open Hand Foundation has entered into a delinquency status with the IRS. Carl Jobst has run with this, saying that this is further proof that Open Hand did not comply with the law. In reality, the Open Hand's legal counsel was instructed by the Department of Justice to withhold their tax filings until the investigation was concluded. This delinquency status is the charity equivalent of an unpaid parking ticket and gets cleared whenever Open Hand files a specific form, which they've already taken care of. As a result, this delinquency status has been corrected and is actually explicit proof that my family and I fully complied with the investigation and truly have nothing to hide. Now, I wish I could end the video right here and move on. As a result, Open Hand files a specific of an unpaid parking ticket included. This delinquency status is the charity equivalent of an unpaid parking ticket and gets cleared whenever Open Hand files a specific form, which they've already taken care of. As a result, this delinquency status has been corrected and is actually explicit proof that my family and I fully complied with the investigation and truly have nothing to hide. Now, I wish I could end the
No, it doesn't. It just shows that you took care of the delinquency status. That's great. That has nothing to do with
video right here and move on.
He needs something.
And not acknowledge my detractors beyond easily debunked numbers and misunderstood compliance laws. Unfortunately, Carl and Mudahar have made themselves impossible to ignore. They have inserted themselves into my story, whether I like it or not. Both of them have perpetuated and publicized numerous conspiracy theories about myself and my family online, and this has led to irreparable harm to not just myself, but everyone associated with my family, including personal information being leaked, stalking, public harassment, and so much more. It doesn't matter that these guys never explicitly said they believe some of this stuff, nor do they verbally condone bad faith attacks. They discussed and entertained several conspiracies that directly hurt people who had nothing to do with any of this at all. One of the conspiracy claims was that my family donated personal funds to cover up the fact that we secretly stole all of the donor money. Both Mudahar and Carl discussed this as not only a legitimate possibility, but as a likely reality, despite the fact that no hard evidence of embezzlement has ever existed.
One of the actual conspiracies for this is, one user writes, they just needed a few weeks to secure a loan or liquidate assets to come up with the money to do this. If this conspiracy theory is true and the California DOJ or the IRS are investigating, that's going to draw some serious eyeballs over to them. So if that money is there, just prove it exists. I get it. You're behind lawyers and PR agencies.
If this was actually true, the DOJ would have caught it
Why? How is he making that seem like that is a legitimate reality?
Yeah.
That's not. So maybe he's going to show Carl Jobs doing that, but that's not showing. He's literally saying, if that's true, you would have to deal with this. And also, if you want to show the money, I understand you're dealing with this stuff, but like, this is kind of important. he's not saying that it's real. He's not saying that it's more credible than not. He's just saying if it were to, that would draw eyeballs and the IRS would take care of it, especially if they're investigating. That's not him making the claim that it's true or not. He's just saying, okay, well, if that happens, they'll go through the process with the IRS and figure it out. That's not fucking condemning him.
Or condoning people stalk him or whatever. Like neither one of
yeah,
them.
He's saying the IRS, the government will figure it out. We don't have to do it.
Exactly.
Instantly and acted accordingly. 501c3 charities in California are extremely strict and are under much tighter supervision than most other states in the US. An even more outrageous conspiracy tries to allege that my dad poisoned my mom in order to not just worsen her condition.
This has 11 upvotes.
Random Redditors?
This has,
it's just a random Reddit account.
This has 11 upvotes. This has
Bro dug for that.
11 people co-signing this.
Bro's in a mine shaft looking for that shit.
This has just made me realize that I think Gerard and I are probably the same age. Shit, I've been in that kind of position taking care of my own mom, although hers was a spinal injury in 2013 when his mom passed. But something doesn't feel right. He was out of school for about 9 months and his dad didn't know. Did his brothers and sisters never once bring that up? Then, the medical diagnosis. I get it taking a while to find, and to be sure it is what it is, but Gerard's recounting of events make it sound like his dad suspected his wife was ill. He just never tried to get her checked out, which I do understand that to a degree, but trying to get my dad or grandpa to see a doctor for very obvious issues can feel like talking to a wall. Dad having chronic nightly nosebleeds for 6 months before being convinced to finally see a doctor. But just feels that we might need someone to break HIPAA or something to get a clear picture. Something just feels off. And my gut is going to Charles, having possibly poisoned his wife or something, then making his kids unknowingly help in worsening her condition as they help her. I seriously hope I'm wrong on this, because that's just beyond evil. It's downright monstrous. 11 people upvoted this. And you're saying...
How did he find it?
What the fuck? I'm so confused. This is like if I found a conspiracy saying that I was a fucking skinwalker that got 3 upvotes and going, guys, people were going after my character. They were saying that they were making allegations that would get me shot if I walked out into an open parkway.
Like,
what do you mean?
That allegation against pirate software.
Yeah. Valid. That's a classic way. Yeah.
But maybe dad poisoned my
agencies.
501c3 charities in other states in the US. An even more outrageous conspiracy tries to allege that my dad poisoned my mom.
Dude, oh my god, it's just an outrageous conspiracy, I guess. But like, you're trying to make it sound like people were in on this, or like we're going after you with this allegation when that doesn't make sense.
Even Mudahor's fault.
Yeah.
In order to not just worsen
the family, because family. Thank you, Vin Diesel in chat. Welcome.
Her condition, but maybe even cause her diagnosis in the first place. These were particularly nasty conspiracies that I wanted to address in my...
Then came back and wanted a divorce, and his dad said, no, I won't let you unless you see a doctor, because the only reason you'd want a divorce is if you've got a medical problem. Made her do tests for years until they diagnosed her with dementia.
Initial response video from December of 2023, where I shared my mom's autopsy report to prove that yes, she did live and die with frontotemporal dementia. Some people were a little confused about this and were extremely upset that I used my mom's death certificate in that way that I did. But seeing all these accusations that were swirling around me, even the truth of my mom's disorder was now officially being questioned.
Maybe he doctored that little death certificate. We'll never know.
Well, I doubt that. My thing is, that's like, I had 10 or so people jokingly say, I don't know, I had 20 people jokingly say, I don't think that Quintio was born in the United States, and then me using my birth certificate to prove them wrong. Unless I'm mistaken, maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember hearing about fucking any of this. I think the same reason that people were like, why the fuck are you bringing your mom's death certificate up, is because no one was doubting, or I should say the majority of the people that would have been involved that were watching him, anything like that, none of them were like under the impression or were like upset with him because they thought that he was lying about his mom having fucking dementia. They were upset about how the charity was handling the funds, or the foundation was handling the charitable funds. That's
called a bait and switch. He's like,
guys, all right, guys,
got me in this corner.
All right, I saw a dude in the back say that my mom didn't die of dementia. All right, here's her death certificate. Here's what they did with their brain and spinal column. It's like, nobody, dude. That
like, we believe you. It's like, we believe you, my guy, but the money, the other thing that we believe happened, you stealing, or at least keeping money for years on end instead of donating it.
It comes off as shielding from criticism with his dead mom. I would agree that
it really is.
Yeah, it comes off as that, and unfortunately, that also kind of falls in line with what felt weird about his call with Mutahar and Carl Jobs, that he was kind of being emotionally manipulative and like trying to put the guilt onto them for them coming forward with the information that they had about the Open Hand Foundation. Didn't make claims of embezzlement until after Gerard's response video where he threatened to sue them. I don't know if that's true, but wait, are we still going?
We're still going.
All right, sorry.
We got like
so
another
no. I mean, sorry. There's Denny here is arguing on behalf of Gerard, or has been.
Oh.
And a couple others. Guys, if you'd like to, you guys want to have a conversation, here's a link to my Discord. Shameless plug. All right. But I mean, y'all good? Hold on. If you guys want to join the Discord, we talk drama, play video games. I'm going to be doing a gaming stream after this. Let me send you guys over this. If you guys want to have these discussions, we got shit for that. Take a look. Okay, so we've got a little bit of left to finish. I want to see these other conspiracy theories he brings up.
They're probably gonna be like from one.
Giving up, there's no worries. Totally understandable, Dodgy. Megabonk. I will be playing Megabonk. I'm very excited. It admittedly, it's a lot of fun. About? It's Vampire Survivors, but 3D. Like, that's like, you get to jump, you get to move around. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like the game when I first saw it because I saw it as a YouTube short advertisement where the game dev or something. It's like, I made this game and this person broke my game. Here's how they did it. They got this upgrade with this one and that. And I was like, ugh, I fucking hate ads like that. So I was like, cool, I'm not touching that shit. And then a bunch of my friends were like, dude, you should play it. It's fucking amazing. And admittedly, it's pretty good. But sorry, back to what we're looking at. Okay.
The Completionist.
Now there's one more thing that I want to get ahead of here. Just a couple of years before my mom passed away, my dad started dating his now current wife while still being married to my mom. When you're committed to...
Why do we need to know that?
Well, you want to know why? We need to know that?
Why?
Because Carl called it.
Really?
Because there were literally people giving him shit. I just read this, I think, on stream. Hold on, let me pull it up. Someone was giving him shit on fucking Reddit for saying these heinous things about the guy's dad when he was right the entire time. Holy shit. Okay, hold on. That's wild. Okay, so there's a post on YouTube Drama that says Carl Jobs making awful speculations about Gerard's family and lying about Gerard suing him. So
motherfucker can't be in his Discord chilling. He can't make a couple conspiracy theories.
He was right. It wasn't even a conspiracy theory. He was right.
Oh, damn.
Then came back and wanted a divorce, blah, blah. They set up a golf tournament, but the marriage was basically a facade. Oh shit, because his dad was with another woman. I mean, it was supposed to be woman. Shame on you, Carl. Learn woman versus women. Before the wife died. That is true. That's literally true. He's literally confirming it.
Bro was in the damn house.
Yeah, he knew. Is just taking a piss at his own dad? No, he's just getting ahead of it. We're about to hear what he means. Okay. I wanted to cover that. That's crazy.
Caring for someone with dementia for over a decade, life gets extremely complicated. My mom was at least 10 years into getting sick, and she was barely communicative at this point. My dad somehow found love at his senior age with an amazing woman who would go on to help our family take care of my mom well into her final days. I should not have to explain what I feel is no one's business but my family's. Unfortunately, there's Discord receipts of Carl stating that this was the last bit of family stuff that he was holding back, presumably until I decided to respond again, repeatedly referring to my stepmom as
I was muted. He says here, and the mistress became one of the board members of the Open Hand Foundation. Now, he was right about it. Now,
like, why can't bro be right?
Well, here's the issue. And that's good. I might start sneezing. Fuck, please don't.
No, it's good.
The important bit here is that if this information that he's talking about that he's sharing, he found out about because it was shared with him during that call that he had with Gerard and Mudahar, then it's really fucking shitty that he came out with that. If that, because I mean, you heard from Mudahar, like, this should be nobody's business. Especially if this was divulged to him in private during that phone call, and he's now like talking about it in his Discord, because even Mudahar was like, there's some family stuff I'm not going to, like, he's like, I'm not going to cover that because it wasn't in regard to that. If this came out on its own and Carl noticed it and wanted to talk about it, like if that was public, okay. But if he found this out because it was divulged by Gerard in that, I would say that's kind of shitty. You should not be divulging that and going crazy for it. Like, it is really irrelevant. Carl just like saw that on the side and just called the shot, and he was right about it. Crazy. Regardless of how you feel about it, there are people that are going to be interested about that. It's the same thing with the pirate software shit. There were a lot of people that were super interested in pirates, like relationship shit with like there was some furry person that like there was like he was dating someone while he wasn't officially divorced or some shit, and there was a lot there. I'm not really one to be super interested in the interpersonal relationship drama, because I do think that that's like a more personal thing. So like if he called the shot, like, crazy that he caught it. But at the same time, it's not something that I'm ever going to like dive deep into. And again, if he found that out because he like gave him that info in that private call, I think that's pretty shitty. But if not, like, whatever, it's his thing to cover, and it's completely reasonable for Gerard to be upset about that too. I don't blame him.
Yeah. As a mistress in my dad's supposed affair.
And okay, yes, by definition, she was a mistress, but like, you have to, there's a big difference between the direct definition and connotation. Connotation is like, the connotation of a mistress is that it's malicious and that this woman has dementia, and so the viewing of that and calling them a mistress is like, this guy's an absolute piece of shit for this, versus like understanding what dementia does to somebody and how you live through that and whatnot. I'm not gonna act like I fucking know, but like, there's a big difference between that and like Karl Jobst and probably how he was portraying it, and like the the nuance of that and the connotation he was using it in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Considering he used this exact tactic against Billy Mitchell, accusing his current wife of being nothing but a mistress in Billy's alleged affair, I have no doubt in my mind that Carl would and might still try and use this against me in the future.
The very next week, he applied to marry his mistress of many years. So that's why Billy lies about his marriage, because the truth is that he had his children out of wedlock to a mistress, and that just doesn't sound quite as wholesome.
Myself and my family have long accepted and loved.
The fact he found the same point twice is a bit cinematic.
Kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like digging into these people's lives. I mean, like, shit, excavating it.
Yeah, Dodgy, I don't blame you, actually. Given the context of shady charity stuff, I can understand why Mistress would sound shady too. That is fair. When you're looking at it all from the same angle, that, honestly, good point. I think it's a good look. My grandmother died of dementia. I'd see her husband as a piece of shit if he got with someone else before her passing. Sure. Little bit of like a personal anecdote. Both of my grandparents died with Alzheimer's or dementia. Like, and in that sense, you kind of say goodbye twice. Like, you say goodbye the moment that when you show up, they don't recognize you anymore. And that can like literally be over the span of years. And then you say goodbye when they pass. And I can't imagine being with somebody and having them be like end up as a completely different person because they don't know who I am anymore. I can't act like I'm holier than thou and that I wouldn't move on or have that. Like, I've had the conversation that if that happens to me, to pull the plug, put a Nerf gun between my eyes and send me away, because I don't want anybody to see me like that. And maybe that's more of a personal thing, but it's like, I don't want someone to be held back, let alone my family members to be held back when I become like not fit for life. Like I'm not that person anymore. So it's like I'm not going to act like I know or that I understand what is going on in that kind of situation any more than somebody who actually lived through it would. And I don't know, maybe that's just being safe about it or whatnot, but seeing it myself and having that experience, it's not like my parents are shitty people because they watch their own parents forget who they are, and they grieved for the loss of their parents the same way I grieved for the loss of my grandparents years before they ended up actually passing away. Like that's, you kind of get to, you understand that when you experience it. Everyone's saying family deals with it differently. She wasn't just an emotional cheat. She supposedly helped out with the mom too. Right. That as well. So I'd say it's not really worth it to dive into the morality of that, especially when we don't know the info, and especially when it's as personal as that is. It can look on the surface as being something like absolutely horrific, and maybe you don't agree with my take on it. But like, number one, I doubt we're ever going to get any more info on that. And number two, I think that matters a lot less in the scope of what I'm covering or what we're going over, which is the charity and them fucking up with that, and then him kind of like lying or discrediting it in ways that are weird, like this.
I feel like it probably is just like something that, unless you live it, you just don't know. It's just something that you would have to live yourself before you can make an actual judgment on it.
Yeah.
Of who my dad married after my mom passed away. It doesn't matter how much Carl tries to twist the truth here. There is no grand conspiracy here. The truth is that despite what they claim, Mutahar and Carl are not journalists, accountants, lawyers, or even engineers. They're YouTubers.
Damn.
I'm led to believe he put this video out when he did because he knew he'd have a full ult, no cooldowns. Like he knew.
Brother, he is spamming R right now. He is just going in. No reload. Oh my god.
He made a mention of the engineer shit. He at least recorded this in the last month or two. Like he knows.
Oh hell yeah.
He knows.
Oh yeah.
Just like
he
me.
needs to go in on Carl.
That's why they
Yeah.
never issued any corrections to this story, despite numerous allegations being thoroughly disproven even before my own response video came out. Corrections and questions are entertained as possible when response video came out. Corrections and questions are... That's why they never issued any corrections to this story, despite numerous allegations being thoroughly disproven even before my own response video came out. Corrections and questions are entertained as possible, but at no point did either of these two admit that they were wrong about anything they incorrectly cited. The 5% rule for charities to donate every single year, Open Hands filing status, expenses and contribution totals, or even my own words. These were all things that I tried to address in my response video, and others online had corrected them as well. There were a number of laws, requirements, and so much more that both Carl and Mutahar cited incorrectly, with no corrections to this very day. Let's take a step back real quick. Mutahar's first video released on November 13th.
Okay, so if he's going to cover this and like do the corrections, like that's great. Now I've fucked up videos in the past. I've made mistakes going over what I've done, but at the end of the day, if there isn't like a notable enough like update to be made, or if I'm not making a large enough claim, like them talking about like, reporting on a legal part of something that ends up not being true, the follow-up video is like, well, it's not going to be long enough. Like usually it'd end up being a pinned comment if it's that small, or if there's an update, which there wasn't going to be one since Gerard didn't make any follow-up, videos talking about any of this until right now. You're not going to see a full video because it wouldn't be worth a full video. Like it might be a community post if they're worried about the legal side of it being on their ass or something. But like, I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying like, that's kind of the game. Like you're not going to make a 2-minute video to say, hey, about this legal thing very specifically right here, I was wrong about that, my bad, walking it back. You'd leave a pinned comment, you'd make an addition to the description, something like that. But it's like, if it's small chips and it's still not reducing the main claim that you're making, you're not going to feel the need to change it. So I don't, whether that's right or wrong, you guys can argue, but like it's not crazy to me.
so far with this video, I feel like he's not even like trying to fight back at all against many of their claims. I just feel like he's trying to like claw back any kind of viewership he has. He's trying to like test the waters. All right, what kind of viewership do I have? Can I come back? You guys cool, right? We're cool, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's what this video is, because like he's not proving that he didn't keep the money for years and that he didn't look suspicious with a random $500,000 sitting in his bank account. He's not disproving that. He's trying to shift blame over to Mudahar and Carl Jobs now that they're in a not favorable light anymore. And he's trying his best to make a comeback. Which, I mean, like, shit, motherfucker. If you ulting, you're ulting. But also, I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and act like I trust you again with a charity, especially.
Right. And, like, he's, instead of just crediting his arguments and showing his stuff, he's just trying to discredit them, which is weird.
Yeah.
It is a bunch of what
exposed you for your... They exposed him for his fraud, and now he's just trying to make it seem like, oh, no, you guys shouldn't trust him at all, even though he's not refuting what they said at all. Like, their main point still stands.
Yeah.
His next upload responding to online criticisms was on November 20th. His third video was on December the 2nd. And a fourth video was then released.
Shit, that's my birthday.
On December 7th.
Hell yeah, brother.
This time to talk about our donation to AFTD. Each and every video, Mudahar told his viewers that the open hand needed to be reported for an audit if you, the viewer, wanted anything to change.
Looking at their golf tournament, looking at a bunch of other places, there is, at least in my opinion, income or revenue that should be reassessed by an auditing body.
That is until December 9th when I released my response video. In my video, I said that we welcomed an audit, responding to the claim that we were somehow afraid that an investigation might happen, exposing the books and everything up to everyone.
What they don't want is people, especially the authorities, looking into the golf tournament and all of that sponsorship money.
But if you have the money, I don't think it's illogical to show that you have the money and you are willing to donate it. Unless, of course, even if possessing the money after all of this, there are still some serious legal repercussions.
Instead of admitting that, hey, maybe he might have gone too far, Mudahar doubled down, saying that a criminal investigation by the government suddenly doesn't disprove his accusations that we broke the law.
Now, the audit was never the smoking gun during this video, and you might be like, whoa, what are you talking about, Muda?
This is the exact investigation that Mudahar instructed his viewers would deliver justice if...
This is Zig. I'll also be sending my research and complaints to the Attorney General of the state of California. If this is charity fraud, only they can confirm it, and they have no obligation to do so. Okay.
They followed his instructions.
Do you want justice to be delivered? So I'm going to teach you guys how to report this properly. Now, obviously, if you want any agency to look into this, check the state of California.
As for Carl, he actually acknowledges that...
Say that again.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I saw someone in the chat saying Mudahar, reliable narrator.
Yeah.
But it's like, but I mean, like, he kind of was correct on this. But if you ask him about the engineering,
right.
He might have a little fuzz up there.
Yeah.
Agency to look into this, check the state of California.
As for Carl, he actually acknowledges that he doesn't correctly cite any of the laws that I supposedly broke.
I couldn't give two shits if any of that is illegal or illegal. It would not affect my own moral judgments because I don't base my morals on whether or not a court convicts someone of a crime.
This is implying that he's not in the same breath at the beginning of this video saying whether there was any illegal wrongdoing, morally we still fucked up. That is him agreeing with the argument that Carl Jobs is making right now, and now he's saying that, oh, they're just trying to make it like it's just trying to be a witch hunt because they said, oh, legally fighting this will be a good thing, although he didn't show clips of that. And then he followed up with showing a clip of Carl Jobs just saying, my morality is not laden or is not like directly pulled from like a legal standing of it or like a legal standing of morality. He already said the whole reason that he's making this apology and saying sorry to people is not because they did something illegal. It's because morally it was a bit scummy, like for how they went about it. So yeah, also like they were suspicious and they suspected, like what you're saying, Dispensable Gamer, if you suspect someone of a crime, you report it. That's what reports are for. Yes, for suspicion. That is correct.
However, instead of admitting that he got anything wrong in his videos, Carl conveniently says that he is not a journalist, he's just making entertainment.
The purpose of a YouTube video is first and foremost to entertain, because if a video isn't easy to understand or entertaining, people won't watch it and I will get less money.
Accusations of criminal wrongdoing and inexcusable moral character are now a form of entertainment.
I never claimed I was doing this for the betterment of charity. I've never discussed any motives other than saying I make videos to make money. I've never put myself on any moral high ground. Isn't it convenient that those who have a problem with how I call out charity fraud are also liars themselves? Okay, so now because he is not valiantly going out and doing this shit in pursuit of making charities better, or to like just do this for a holier than thou reason that in turn he is discredited. You don't like, he doesn't have to make this point. Like, he could just say, yeah, he's not a journalist. Okay. Like, that's a good enough point, but to like push it home like this is so weird.
And should not be taken as fact, despite the fact that Carl cites himself constantly as an investigative journalist, both in his
A speedrunning and gaming journalist from Australia. My name is Carl Jobson. I'm a YouTuber who often reports on video game cheaters.
GoFundMe campaigns.
Bro, what does this have to do with him? What does this have to do with what he said? What he said was right, though, that you took money, held it in your bank account for a suspicious amount of time. Like,
also,
you don't
like,
have to be a journalist to report a crime.
I feel like he's applying the fucking engineering like standard of Canada for the Mudahar shit to him calling himself an investor. Well, okay, like admittedly, this is, I don't know about the timeline here, but Carl Jobst is saying two things at the same time. He was saying he's never said he's an investigative journalist. Now here, apparently he is saying that. He is saying I'm a professional YouTuber and investigative journalist who reports on various topics with a focus on video game competition. That is a fair point. But he did coverage of this story by investigating it. He emailed your foundation. He had a phone call with you. That sounds like an investigation to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Okay, he didn't go to school for it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, shit, the motherfucker did every other step.
Did a lot more than anybody else did covering it. Like, well, except for Mudar, but
record in the courtroom in several different cases, and even in one of his most recent videos.
My channel and my investigative work improved dramatically after I got sued.
Despite the best efforts that I put in my initial response video, I was never going to win, no matter what I said. The money got donated, but that was never the true goal. For Carl and Mudahar to succeed, I had to be irredeemable, and nothing I could have legally provided at the time would have been enough.
Which I will once again prove in this video that you cannot take Gerard at his word. He is proven to be somebody that is deceptive.
It was my 16-minute video under the scrutiny of countless legal professionals versus their 8+ hours of sponsored conspiracy-based attacks.
So remember, guys, they went after this guy simply to make money, and all the people that like saw their videos and agreed with them, they're all in the wrong. Everyone that believes that this guy did wrong, because they were getting money to do what they did, to investigate him. This feels really fucking disingenuous. Like this or maybe be careful. This is one of my subscribers you're talking about. So this is really fucking weird. I don't know how this argument makes sense. I love that it's in the same tab as final accountability. That's really fucking rich. Yeah, I don't. Maybe I'm not thinking right. This feels really fucking weird. Maybe I just need a sec. What are your thoughts, Fish?
I feel like he probably, throughout this whole entire video, could have just cut it in half, said, yo, they're not actual real journalists, so fuck y'all, and then said, I'm making videos. There you go, bam, like 3-second video instead of 45 minutes of bullshitting around. Like he's been fucking around the whole video. Brothers have been hopping from one thing to another thing. None of it's been sticking. Their point still stands that you kept money for a long time inside of your charity account. Like he's not dismissing anything that they said. Like, yeah, Carl Jobs with the whole, father, step wife, whatever. I can say that's bad. But that doesn't take away from like their main point. Their main point is like, brother, you're kind of suspicious. Like, I'm just saying, you're kind of suspicious with that money for like almost a decade. You held some money in your fucking bank account instead of donating it whenever you got it. You wanted to make this whole big lump sum donation that doesn't do anything for you. Like, you can still spin the narrative if you want to sponsorships like, oh, well, if you take an accountability, inflation, or however much, or this, that, and the third, we actually technically donated this much money. Like, charities do it all the time.
Yeah.
He's extremely suspicious. He makes himself look more suspicious because he keeps harping on the point that he wanted to fucking donate a huge lump sum that doesn't help him out in any way. Like, it doesn't help him out in any way.
Also, okay, I think I'm remembering now too. I agree with what you said. He just spent this entire time as like, guys, look at how disingenuous they are. Look at how deceptive they are. They did this. It was a sponsored bid, right? They were sponsored by War Thunder to make these videos. They had this financial incentive. Sure. How about you just disprove them with financial records? But how about you disprove them with everything that is readily at your fingertips from when you were there? Their arguments that they're making about you being deceptive has to do with the fact that for over a year, you knew what was happening and you didn't say anything. What else are people supposed to believe? Like, what else, if not to be suspicious of you, are people going to do? Like, that doesn't make sense. And the fact that you've spent this entire time, this 45 minutes, to either harp on the people you've wronged or just talking about discrediting them because they made these videos for malicious purposes, as opposed for discrediting the information that they provided, it feels like a nothing burger. Like, you made this response and came back and had nothing to show for after being silent for years. Maybe more information will come out after they close the case, but he's not making an indication of such. He's just saying that he'll provide the documentation from the Department of Justice if they end up finding that no wrongdoing was committed, which will be useful for that. But to act like these people were maliciously like going after you when, again, still, it feels like you're completely missing the fucking point of not providing the information that people were looking for. Plain and simple. That's what you did.
At all. And then the quote unquote research is literally just him taking clips or their actual video links and putting it in a Google box. And I'm just like, I could look that up my damn self.
Right.
Like, what is this?
And that's
this
true.
Prove anything.
Right. And Aoi, you said it's not a lie if they believe it's true. They're just wrong. Gerard admits to know they hadn't donated but continued to claim they had. Right. It's not a lie if they believe it's true. It's also them not lying if they believed what they were saying to be true. So it's just again, that's so interesting.
Okay. So, and he still hasn't proven the lie.
Right.
Recap. Yes, I did lie about where the donations were going, knowingly so after IndieLand 2022. I tried to take responsibility privately by making sure that the money got donated appropriately, hoping that I could minimize the damage this might do to everyone in my life, keeping this a secret to prevent anyone else from being complicit. In reality, continuing to hide this throughout 2023 only made everything worse, because now I was still directly complicit. There was always going to be hell to pay, and I was just being stupid about all of this. I should have just partnered with the organization directly, made things right from the beginning, and not cared about restricted donations or where the money was going. I also should not have gone ahead with IndieLand in 2023. The show had taken a life of its own because it finally was receiving the notoriety for all of our team's hard work, and I did not want to hurt or betray everyone that put their blood, sweat, and tears into the show. This was just...
Okay, sorry, really quick. Denny, the conversation we're having with Denny, we're good, guys. We don't need to make chat look active, right? You guys have literally been arguing for over an hour now. If you guys want to, gladly... Again, the Discord is available. You can have that conversation there. We don't need to keep doing it. I don't want to time people out for it, but I think we're clearly on inconsolable or whatever that's called, irreconcilable differences in belief on this situation. I think we're good, guys. I don't think we need to keep arguing each other into walls, right?
I'm like, we all can logically see that if you do believe Jared, I mean, that is you. But I'm like, most people.
Yeah, you're allowed to believe your thing. Disagree to disagree and leave it. Yeah. Agree to disagree and leave it. I trust both sides. Believe what you believe.
It's important to indie games as it.
You're totally good. I'm not calling anyone else out, but we've been arguing over this for an hour. It's very clear. No opinions are shifting here. That's okay.
Yeah,
was to charity, and that added a ton of expectations and pressure. In the end, I made a choice that cost my team their employment and ruined their lives, not to mention all the residual flack of every indie developer that they received just because of their association to me. It was short-sighted and dishonest. I should have come clean as soon as I learned about it and separated myself and the event from my family immediately. With all that being said, though, what I did not do was steal, embezzle, or otherwise misappropriate donor funds for anything. Every cent of money donated was always there, waiting to find a benefactor. Any claims of theft, embezzlement, or fraud are categorically false. I also want to apologize to Carl and Mudahar. Despite my criticisms, I know what it's like to have your entire life scrutinized by tens of thousands of strangers who just want to see you fail, and nobody deserves that. I know you both wanted this money donated, and you didn't deserve to get blown off just because people liked me. But I'm not interested in fighting some eternal YouTube drama conflict. I just want to come clean.
Wait, why not? I want to get paid.
Exactly.
I want to get paid.
Exactly. How dare he? Hey, we need money too.
Yeah.
Genuinely, the soonest I was able to do so.
That's fucked up, dude.
Conflict. I just want to come clean. And this is genuinely the soonest I was able to do so. So if you're really interested in understanding whether Carl and Mudahar conducted a responsible and educated investigation, there's a great YouTube video out there by a YouTube channel called Accounting in YouTube that breaks down the entire thing. And it's made by actual CPAs who looked at everything that Carl and Mudahar looked
with
at.
1K
if this is where my
subs.
I mean, we're not gonna sub shame somebody if they're a fucking CPA.
I'm not sub shaming him, but I am just saying, like, you went out of your way to find
you went digging
channel. Like, brother went out of his way to find this.
Well, it's 38K views. It's reputable.
I guess, yeah.
I don't want any drama. Also, Gerard Muda, you're not an engineer, and Carl isn't an investigative journalist. I mean, he's not wrong by saying that. We did just kind of find out. Muda Hart. I see what you mean, though. He's kind of, poking the bear a bit. Okay.
Work and charity ends, then so be it. I have participated in dozens of public fundraising events over the years that have nothing to do with the Open Hand Foundation or my family for that matter. And the reason has always been the same each and every single time. Charity and help promote indie games. I wanted to elevate the industry. Where do we go from here? Even if I somehow recover from this controversy, things can never be the same as they once were. Does that mean the Completionist, the show, my channel, my livelihood? Is it all just dead? No.
Oh, damn.
Hell no.
Got it wrong.
I still complete games. I actually never stopped completing games. Even through the entirety of last year, I completed well over a dozen games just because I wanted to. At the end of the day, I still love making videos. With me. I have been in my corner relationship.
He's uploading in. That's all we need to know. He's uploading again.
Yep. Okay. What if the video he recommended was sent to him? I feel like people just want people to never recover from mistakes. That's totally fair too. That's completely fair. It could have been
I feel like he 100% can't recover from this. Just don't do a fucking charity again. I like that was my whole thing. It's just like, brother, you donated the charity money, but you suspiciously held it for a suspicious amount of time. I think charity and you just don't mix. You can upload. Who the fuck cares, right?
Yeah.
But like,
go crazy.
Every one of you.
Go crazy. Upload. Just Don't join a charity with with your family, especially when that family isn't going to allow the person who's bringing in 90% of the donations to be the one deciding when and where it's getting donated, or being a part of that conversation. Dr. Disrespect return. That seems like less of a stretch. Yeah. Oh, does this video have monetization?
Oh, hell yeah.
By his logic, wouldn't that make it disreputable? Wait, that's a great point. Yeah. Hold on.
True.
I have YouTube Premium on this account, so I won't be able to tell if it has advertisements on it.
Wait, send me the link. Send me the link.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Yeah, let me see. Oops. I'm like some shit around here.
Here is that.
Let's see if this boy was being reputable or not.
God, I hope he has mid-rolls on that. That'd be so fucking funny. That's such a good point. They do have money, but I think that's not the point. I think the point is that they were all, doing this charity. Nobody's owed a public career. He ruined his You're not seeing ads?
Yeah, I don't see any ads. I think
Good.
I think he's adless on this.
Needs to talk to filtered. Okay. All right. Somehow the completionist has returned. Doesn't George? Nobody's owed a public career. He ruined his public image, but there's no reason why he couldn't live a great private life from here. Right. And if he wants to, I'm not against the dude making videos as long as he's not running a charity event where he, someone else should be handling the charitable funds at the bare minimum. But like to expect that people are going to donate to anything that you have yourself involved in regard to charity, I think it's reasonable to expect that that's not going to be the case, or that there's not going to be a lot of money in there.
Yeah, that's my same reasoning. Is like, I don't understand why some YouTubers will like waste years of their life trying to like prove something wrong when it's just like, brother, we already blew past that. That wasn't even the biggest drama of the year. Like, yeah,
Right.
was it big? Was like, yeah, but you could have just ignored a couple comments here and there and you would have been fine.
Exactly.
I just don't feel like he should have. At this point, I just don't feel like he should have just even made this video. He could have just made his next completionist video and went on with his day.
Yeah, and literally all of it could have been like, hey, I won't be involved in charity anymore. Like, I really fucked it up once. Like, I was in a bad situation, blah, blah. He doesn't even have to take full accountability or whatever, but I'm moving on past that. I'm just going to make this stuff.
I'm like,
my
for
bad,
45 minutes
on.
he didn't.
Yeah. What do you guys, so that kind of like covers the entirety of that. I'm interested to see if Carl Jobs, what he's going to say in his response. Interested to see if Mudahar is going to make one. Voice crack. I don't know if Mudahar is going to have something to say about it, if he's going to make a response video. I'm very curious because, he's...
them comments going to be flooded.
He's been given...
Engineer much?
He's been given an opportunity. Yeah. Was this other guy on call with him? Is it that talking fish head avatar guy? Yes, it is. Matter of fact, let me give a link over to your YouTube as well.
Straight in the bowl.
Straight into bowl.
Yeah.
Hold on here.
Jerry completed his career again. I guess he's on like New Game Plus right now. He's like, he has a couple debuffs, but he's gonna fight through it.
Here is a link over to that, guys, for you guys. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, agree. Just like, I really tried. I fucked up. I'm gonna fix it as much as possible. No more charities for me. Exactly. Like, he could have just said that years ago. He's like, in my book, he's not a horrible person. Didn't look scummy. Yeah, but he slightly rectified the situation by donating the money finally. So in my book, I don't care.
Yeah,
I just don't care.
My biggest issue is that he's, and again, I don't give a shit if any of you guys watch him. Like, again, keep in mind,
I'm not gonna
like
what shame you over
what we're doing right here. This is entertainment. Like, you guys are interested in the drama. Maybe you knew, the completionist. Like, maybe you knew this stuff. Like, I don't give a shit what you guys do in your personal time. If you watch Pirate Software in your off time, I don't give a fuck. Like, it doesn't. Oh no, it doesn't matter. It's interesting. It's interesting to watch, and the reason I like to do drama in the same way that I like to do gaming is that I find it interesting, and I'm curious because it's good to know. Like, I enjoy that. There's no like moral superiority going in from my side of things about what you guys choose to do. I don't give a shit. And if you end up liking his content, or you did growing up and like this changed your mind or whatever, like, okay, like go watch this stuff again. It doesn't truly matter at the end of the day. This is what you get to do with your free time. And you've chosen to come watch me and Straight cover this information and use it because you guys found that interesting, entertaining, or useful. It's like, that's it. I just like to talk about this shit. It's fun. But like other people in my chat or Straight might, condone what you're doing or condemn you for it. And like, honestly, good for them.
I've been condemning.
You should feel that from them. So, take it all for all of it.
I can't believe you will watch a completionist video. I'm disgusted in you.
You piece of shit.